of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Yes, welcome in. How are you doing? Happy Thursday. We are about 2 days away from Ange Ball, ladies and gentlemen. So if you ain't strapped in yet, go ahead and strap yourself on in. We are about to kick things off. But how are you doing? We are almost at the end of the work week, and that's quite a good feeling, if I may be honest. But welcome in. I'm here. Chewy's here. I've got a great guest lined up in the back for y'all. So I believe making a debut on the channel. Maybe he joined me a long time ago. But a great guest nonetheless. If you know him, you know him. If you haven't seen him, you will see him. And if you don't know him, you will get to know him, is what I'm trying to say. But how are we all doing in the chat? Please partake in that poll. Hit a like on your way in. I see 20 likes and 32 votes. So 12 people voting, 12 people joining the party, but not wanting to grab the free beer on their way in. I always say it costs you absolutely nothing. Helps the party keep going. So hit that like if you don't mind it, or don't. It's really a free universe, so you can do as you want, do as you please, but do partake in that poll and let me know how you're feeling. The question of today is, what is the worst myth around Tottenham Hotspur? 41% are saying that Spurs are trophyless. That is the biggest myth. It is a big myth. I obviously have a list of our honors pulled up if anyone needs to see the evidence. But that is a big myth. And now pulling to tie with first right now is the word Spursy, which is something I did want to talk about today in regards to Luton Town coming up. Obviously, you can make your assumptions there why I would connect the two. And then 21% says that Ange can win a trophy with us is the biggest myth around Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going to ask my guest, what he thinks the biggest myth around Tottenham Hotspur is from a non-biased standpoint. You know me, I always say I'm like a yin and yang of emotion and logic. And sometimes when they meet in the middle, you don't always know what you're going to get. Much like when lava meets ice. Which one will melt or freeze? I don't know. But sometimes I can be a little biased, and I admit that. I'm off the top, admit that. I'm not going to say that when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, I can't be unbiased. But let's see who got the first place prize before I bring in the guest and say what's up to the chat. It is Scott M. What a turn of events. It is Scott M., YouTube chat member extraordinary. He gets double first place prize. First YouTube chat member in the house and first chatter in the house. It says, as usual, you nail it with the one rational poll option. Big up, and I hope you have a great show. If you know Scott M., I always try to present at least one option that is a Scott M. option. That is for the Spurs fans who feel like Scott M. All right, he's the villain we all love. You know what I mean? Like, people don't like the Joker because he kills innocent people, but at the end of the day, the Joker's still a very great villain in the story of Batman. So Scott M., big up, appreciate you being here. Obviously, he's referring to the fact that the biggest myth is that Ange can win a trophy with us. We'll get into it. I'll say what's up to people in the chat as we go along, but please do hit your like on your way in. Grab that free beer and enjoy yourself. But without further ado, let me welcome on, I believe, debut. If you, how do I put this? He's my Texan brother. If you didn't know, now you know. He's my Texan brother. But if you subscribe to Never Foul, Footy Judge Mo, or This Is Football, or Staffy TV. I mean, I could go on and on with the number of channels this guy goes on, but we are blessed today to have in the house for just a limited amount of time the one and only Judge Mo, a hot commodity amongst you two. How are you doing, first off and foremost?
I'm doing all right. Thank you so much. Just let me get the coffee. Come back.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead and get that coffee. I'll say what's up to the chat while you go and dip. Let's see who else is checking in. Wolf's
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. The coffee's right there. Oh, okay. I thought you needed a pour cup.
It's a coffee, Lavazza, of course, the Italian, and it's a little bit something to drink on the side. So
I like that. I'm just sipping
day
on my
is
water.
long, Jacob. I'm happy to be here, everybody. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. I think we got 50 people in this house, and the likes don't match the people. So if you're watching this stream, you have to hit that like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny. Do you charge your people for watching you?
Not a single thing. I just say there's free beer at the door. It's up to you whether you choose to grab it and bring it into the party. Now, you're coming to the party regardless because you already checked in. You're tapping in with United Spurs of America. I say that's the way I say it. Just grab your free beer. Even if you're not drinking tonight, just grab the free beer, set it inside the party. All it does is make the party better. So, but I do have to admit, the last month or so, there's been a loyal, faithful following that have we average around 150 likes per stream now from live viewers and watchback. So big shout out to anyone who is watching this back on playback. I appreciate the support in that manner, because just as good as a live view, I say. But Mo, lots to talk about. Obviously, Luton's coming up. We have an international friendly. Tottenham just played Liverpool. Tottenham just the week prior to that had played Arsenal. I just want to ask, before we look ahead, what do you think so far from what you've seen from Ange Postecoglou managing Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League?
Exciting, a stubborn man, very stubborn man, and a man of principle. I actually didn't know anything about him. I said it's a very underwhelming appointment on the football terrace and on Never Fallon everywhere. To be honest, I said this. I actually thought that Spurs, if we still had a Kane, will finish 10th. I didn't see this coming. I thought the Premier League is tougher than this, because I've seen managers come in and fail. But yeah, it's too early to judge. But to be honest, just the early signs say that this guy knows what he's doing. He's not joking around. He can get the best out of his players. Players will make mistakes. Of course, players will make mistakes, and we see them every game from Spurs. But at least you're sticking to a plan. You're sticking to a principle. And I think that will get you places. And I think he improved a lot of people. So let me just say something for the people that don't know. Me as a neutral, it's exciting to watch Spurs. I haven't seen that for a while, even though I'm not a Spurs fan. Like, I would have the Spurs game in one of the screens when I watch games. This is something that you couldn't have said that last year. You couldn't have said that the year before. You know what I mean? Like, Spurs is one of the teams that if there's a 3 o'clock game in England and it's one of 5 games, you would choose Spurs, of course, because it's just they're good in the eye, and then that's it.
And Ange Postecoglou, when he first came to Tottenham Hotspur, again, like you said, you didn't know much about the guy coming in. For me, I didn't know much about the guy. I watched him manage one match intentionally, and that was his final match with Celtic, which was in the Scottish Cup, I believe it was. 2-1 victory. And I mean, take away what you will from the match. I just was like, okay, this guy, doesn't matter if they're a goal up, they're still going to be chasing the goal. So I like that off the jump. And then I had a guy, Paul Beatty. He runs a channel called Hotspur Hippie. So shout out him every single time. But he was the first person to ever mention Ange Postecoglou to me. And one of the first things he said was, you're going to fall in love with this guy before you even see him manage a Tottenham game because of the way he conducts himself. So as a neutral, from the things you've heard him say, now remember, I want to caveat this. I'm going to make this a loaded question for you, Mo, because from the moment he joined Tottenham Hotspur, it was, what are you doing about Harry Kane? Are you replacing Harry Kane? Is Harry Kane staying? Here's a Bayern Munich jersey at a press conference. I mean, this guy has been tested essentially from the very first moment in the media's eyes, not even before he managed anything on a pitch in front of our eyes, at least. I just think he was kind of thrown to the deep end and was forced to swim, and he's looked kind of really cool, calm, collected, like he's not a fish out of water. What do you see from how he conducts himself as a man in press conferences? Because remember Conte, I know you know Conte very well.
I love Conte. He's one of my favorite coaches ever.
I loved Conte coming here, but we were just not. We were not here. He was here. We were not here. And so when he's trying to fire here and we're firing here, it's just never going to work. And I mean, we know that.
So this notion, listen, Jacob, this notion that people want to conduct and this notion that people want to tell, that Ange Postecoglou, he's new to the league, he won't be able to conduct himself. Listen, this is a man, a grown-up man in his 50s, if I believe, and late 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
58, I think.
Yeah, so has coached
57.
everywhere, has coached national teams. And so he has been asked all kind of questions in the history of football. This is not him not having experience in the Premier League doesn't mean he's not a grown-up.
Good point. Just because I ain't been listening doesn't mean he ain't been talking. I hear you. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, this guy has been asked awkward questions in Australia, in Scotland when he coached the national team. Like, it's been there. You know what I mean? He coached in Japan. Japan is like, what Japan is? 300, 200 million people, if I'm not mistaken. So you can tell Japan has more population than England. So it's ridiculous that we're going to sit here and say, yeah, he conducted himself very well. Or we're not talking to a toddler here. We're talking to someone who knows the game, who has raised kids, who has a family, and who has been coaching football for over 20 years. Well, did he conduct himself well? Of course he did. While on the pitch in the Premier League is completely different. You can be 60 years old and come to the Premier League and don't know anything about the Premier League and you'll fail, but he didn't fail yet. Or he's not going to fail. I don't know. But that notion is like, yeah, he's very well spoken in a press conference. I'm like,
It won me. Admittedly, it won me over as a guy waiting to be told the things I want to hear.
Did it surprise you though that he can speak well?
You know,
it's ridiculous.
That's a good point, because one of the first things after he was appointed our manager that popped into my YouTube algorithm, shout out YouTube's algorithm for whatever it's worth, it popped an old ass interview of him with some Australian dude on national news for Australia, and they were going back and forth, and I loved the way he handled himself. And I saw that and I was like, oh, this is great. And then continually, step by step, he's just shown me, like, he makes me feel good to be a fan again. You know, because I feel like a lot of Tottenham Hotspur fans last year were losing their identity, their relationship with Spurs, so to speak. You know, I've had multiple fans who've seen us win things, who've seen us lose, who've seen the highest of highs for us and the low. You know, fans who've seen the double, fans who've seen us winning FA Cups. You know, they've witnessed us have some glory, and they even say, I glory? Lost FA Cup. We were synonymous with the FA Cup. Do I need to share it? Shall I share it?
Listen, it's easy to search Wikipedia, you know.
No, it's not Wikipedia. It's TottenhamHotspur.com. Major honors. Football League champions 50, 51, 60, 61.
Oh, wow.
Look at all these FA Cups. We were known for the FA Cups. And technically, the last one we won was in my lifetime, because I was born in 1990. So isn't that nice?
All right.
Admittedly, at 1 year old in Dallas, Texas, I was not a Tottenham Hotspur fan, but nonetheless.
You were born with the club in your blood.
Yeah, I was just waiting to come out. Yeah.
Yes. No, but there is a comment that say, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of proven managers that are awful in press conferences. I think Pep Guardiola's awful. I think Jurgen Klopp speaks out of his ass. I feel there's a lot of managers that don't know how to, and they are brilliant managers. They're geniuses. But Ange Postecoglou came to the Premier League with the reputation of someone who wins fans, who wins clubs, to make everybody by his side. So I wasn't surprised that he speaks well. It has been told, we have been told that he speaks very well. So I'm not surprised. But what I was surprised about is how he plays football in the Premier League, the same as he plays football in Australia, in Scotland, in Japan. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'll play the same exact brand of football with an awful, mediocre players that were absolutely terrible last year. And I'm just going to get the best out of everybody and prove you all wrong, that I know more than you, which is very surprising. But just to summarize the start of the show, Ange Postecoglou has surprised everybody, including Spurs fans. And if anybody tells you otherwise, you're a liar. You lie, you lie, you lie. You look at the mirror and you lie.
Mo, love having you here. We are 15 minutes in, so please do hit that like on your way in. If you haven't already, it's very simple. In the title, at Footy Judge Mo, you can click the link. You can go subscribe over there. I'm surprised that you're not sitting at well over 10, 15K at this point, Mo, because you're very well known and you're very well spoken. So I appreciate you taking time to be here. Is that your agent texting you saying we're not allowed to speak about our other appearances? Big up everybody in the chat. If you do hit a question like this, I'll see it, I'll star it, and I'll try and ask it before Mo leaves. So Zapur, I have starred your question. This is a way, if you don't want to super chat, you can just hit the Q and a dash, and I'll see it, I'll star it, and we'll bring it up at some point. So big up Zapur for that. Big up Caption Grandma. Drula's in the house. Zapur's in the house. Craig the Gecko Man. Mountain Bush Man. Sonaldo. Kate. Jim with Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Rich in the house. How you doing? Jason Bell. Sonaldo. Everyone's grabbing their free beer. Steady as Shark. How you doing? Dub Shaman. Ronnie. How are we all doing? Talking Ball. How are we doing? Anfield Dave. Did Jacob say Spurs are synonymous with... I said we were. Once upon a time we were. Again, if you look at the honors, there was a good little run there. 61, 62, 67. That's pretty nice. 81, 82. Come on. But big up everybody. Make sure you hit Donovan. Hello, Donovan. How you doing? Says, I hate when you're chatting sense with a footballer when they disregard everything for you're saying for 0 trophies. Look, that's just because people who were born after 2010, they haven't seen us lift a trophy. So it's a little understandable. If we win one, I think then that puts...
Is there people born after 2010?
Yeah, there's a lot of people born after that, and they're all over Twitter. And the first thing they'll say to you is, anytime you have an intellectual conversation, is "Wara trophy," which You know, it took me a minute to catch on what they were meaning with that. But these kids, I'm figuring out their lingo. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah. I'm old, bro. I am old.
No, you don't look a day over, what shall I say, 27? You look about 28.
I'm way older than this, but fine. But thank
You'll
you.
take it. Hey, you'll take it.
I'll take any wins at this moment.
Big up Russ, Evo, big up Cal. The next thing I did want to ask you about, so I'm not going to talk about Liverpool. That's we've talked about it
Why?
so much.
Why?
Because we've talked about it so much.
No,
on
because
this
it's
channel.
awkward. Because it's awkward. I know, and you have seen me, and I know that you have watched me. Because I know that you have watched me on the top 6 on the terrace, on Never a Foul, on Sam's channel, on my. I know you know my opinion, but maybe the people you have here don't know my opinion. But anyway,
Let them know, Mo. What's your take? I'll open the door then. I was gonna.
Long story short, I
Yeah.
thought you were favored by the referee. I think it's an honest mistake, incompetent mistake, the Luis Diaz thing. But I think that the Jota yellow card, the second yellow card, is absolutely a howler from the referee. And
The second one or the first one?
the second.
From the second yellow from Jota, where he went to ground after
Yeah.
getting dispossessed. You
I
thought
just
that was a
shared the
howler?
tweet. I'm telling you, I just shared the tweet. So let me explain to you why this is. There is no rule about the yellow card in a tackle, right? Like as long unless it's an in danger, it's all to the referee's discretion. Do we agree on this? Like this yellow card was to the referee's discretion. Do you agree that it's not a law? He didn't handle the ball. He didn't grab a jersey. He didn't, right? And he didn't endanger an opponent. Do we agree in the first point? To reach a conclusion, I'm going to ask a series of questions so you can reach the same conclusion on me, or at the middle you tell me, no, you're wrong. Okay? Do we agree on that? That yellow was to the referee's discretion to interpret that as a second yellow. Is that correct?
I think that was his 4th foul at the time. So, as a referee, when you've warned a guy twice, one of them being a yellow, it's like
Yes. Okay, so persistent infringement does not apply when you already had a yellow for that. So 4th foul doesn't apply. So your logic doesn't apply here, and you can ask any referee. Okay. Once you got a yellow card, it restarts for persistent fouling. Okay. So my point is, the first yellow, it was a yellow because you tripped someone, even if it's unintentional. When he was going on a counter attack, it's a yellow card, right? You were too close to him from behind. So I know that Udogie hit his knee. So that's the first yellow. The second yellow was 5 minutes later, only 1 foul later. And number one, my point is, you have to be very sure about the contact and the yellow card if you're going to give the second yellow card, especially for a team that plays with 10 men, right? Especially if you just give the guy a yellow. You don't give him a yellow, okay, because you think he tripped him. Now, go watch it in slow motion. He actually didn't touch him. Actually, by the way, you know, Jota did not touch Udogie. Like this is a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a slow motion.
I'm gonna need to see this. I'm gonna need to see this.
Go to NBC. You're an American like me. Go to NBC and see the second yellow. He literally, number 3.
I think it's on Peacock.
His foot was on the floor. That means it wasn't raised. Do you know what the difference? Right? Your foot wasn't raised. That means you didn't mean to trip somebody. When you raise your foot, now it's your legs position. You're not on the balls. What's it called? Like you're not on the same level as the ball. You're not trying to play the ball. Number 3, which is the last point, is that there was 6 defenders still behind the ball. So that's the thing. That's the thing about it. And I thought that Simon Hooper absolutely rushed to give the second yellow. This could have been a foul and move on. But the pressure mounted on him. For some reason, he rushed to get, like he couldn't wait to give that second yellow. If I'm the referee, and by the way, I just shared the tweet, an ESPN independent panel, 3 of them said it should not have been a yellow. 2 of them said it should have been a yellow. That means at the end, it is an opinion. And when I say an opinion now, I will lean towards it's not a yellow card. I thought it was rushed. That's my point. It's a simple.
Is this tweet from 3 hours ago? Is that the tweet you're talking about?
Yes, you can read the article and everything. But that's the point, Jacob. Like, once we come to an opinion, right? Now, I can have an opinion, you can have an opinion. So I think why I think my opinion is right, because I looked at the tackle, because he just got a yellow, because the team already played with 10 men. So I think it was unfair.
Fair enough. Hey, I mean, Look, I mean,
My
what you're
point
saying is that they've
forget
came
about
out.
I forget this comment from Zabur. Okay, let me just ask you something. If we are here discussing if he touched him or not, why did Simon Hooper rush to give a second yellow if he's not on? You know what I mean, Jacob? Why you rush to give him a second yellow in a team that already played 10 men? You wanted to be the center of attention, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's like Simon Hooper woke up that day and said, yeah, I will be the center of attention. And I thought that there's many small free kick. I play football, I play soccer, and I know that when you give these small 50-50s to one team's favor because you think you're doing the right thing, it piles up and it gets in someone's head. That's my opinion. Now moving to the football wise, I thought actually that's an opinion that you will never hear anywhere. I actually think that Spurs winning this game is a positive, not that narrative that people say, but you couldn't break 9 men. That's wrong, because the 9 men were defending. And it's very hard to break 9 men with 3 center backs. With
Anyone who's
Konate
played the sport
and Van
competitively
Dijk.
knows that when you
Exactly.
go down a man, let alone 2 men, that if you just camp in the, that's
Like,
a
I get
goalie's
you
dream
trying
right
to
there.
break them down. You're trying to break them down. But let me tell you the difference between you play against 9 or 10 men and you play against 11 men. I don't know why I'm reaching, Sophia. I literally
Shout out
explained
Sophia's Football
myself.
Talk.
I literally explained myself why I think the second yellow. But my point is, when you play 9 or 10 men in football, you are focused on one aspect of the game, which is defending only. As a defender, as a fullback, as a defensive midfielder, you are thinking about 2 aspects of the game when you have 11 men. Your coach gives you a plan to go forward and to defend. But once you went down to 9 men, all you can think about is one aspect of the game. You are not thinking about going forward. And it makes it easier a little bit for you. I'm just thinking about, this is my mark. I don't have to worry about going forward. I don't have to worry about my positioning when we get the ball. It's simple. That's it. And at the end, you won fair and square at the end. Yes, the goal didn't count, but mistakes
I want to go
happen.
back to the yellow card just a moment, because I hear you and I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, if as someone who's played the sport as well for 80% of my life that I can remember, my coaches have always said, and in every sport at every level, they've always said, don't let the ref be the determining factor in the outcome of this match. Outside of whether you agree or disagree with any of their calls, you cannot let them have the final effect on the match. And that's up to you to change that. So what I say to Jota, whether the second yellow or the 4th persistent foul or whatever we want to say, et cetera, to me, Jota, play smarter, play cleaner, take the ref out of the match. You take the ref out of the match, you know what happens then? He doesn't have a dodgy yellow that is now up to speculation as to whether it's valid or not. To me, the best way to do it, the best way to keep those the cards in the ref's pocket was to play cleaner. He didn't play clean. Let me ask you something, Mo. I've heard your opinion on Christian Romero. If Christian Romero does what Diogo Jota does, are you coming on this channel today talking about that it was this, that, and the other, or are you saying Romero's reckless, rash, and he needs to make better decisions?
No, if Romero does this tackle in halfway line and there's 5-6 players of Spurs behind him, I would say he doesn't deserve a second yellow if your team is down 10 men. I'm honest.
You really think? I mean, hey, I take your word for it.
I'm not the one who
I
refs
just
the
know
game. I am not the one who refs the game. Now, your repetition in the league is something I can't control. Like Casemiro's repetition in the league. I'm going to give you one example, right? Fernandinho over the year, and I know you have been watching a while, over the year did this cynical foul when he stops the opposition from counter-attacking. Rodri does it. Do you know why he doesn't get a yellow card? Because his team has the ball all the time. It's a repetition. Referees tends not to get yellow cards for the team that has the ball all the time. It's just about repetition. Now, I am not the one who refs the game, right? I think Romero is reckless, but I'm just analyzing that situation that you described by itself. It's not a yellow. It's my opinion. But again, these are all opinions. These are all opinions. Yeah. People need to understand. I'm not stating here a fact. I'm just saying an opinion at the end. But listen, the football from Spurs, I thought was so good. Were very, very good. And people need to understand one thing. Pep Guardiola, in the first season he joined Manchester City, every game or every week or every 2-3 weeks, he used to go to press conferences and defend the way he plays football, defends his players that used to make mistakes, because he wants to play a certain style and he wants to embed that in the players. Ange Postecoglou is gonna be all right with Madison making a mistake, with Bissouma losing the ball, with Romero trying to pass wrong, with Vicario playing a wrong ball wrong, because that's a process of embedding a specific like way of playing football into this team. That's what people don't understand. Like, you'll get Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, Manchester City fans, Man United fans saying Spurs, they make mistakes. They know that you think Ange Postecoglou isn't analyzing the game after and saying, we made this mistake. Madison, you turned wrong. Bissouma, you turned into the wrong space. The space is the other side. When you get the ball from Romero, the space is on this side. The guy has been there for 2.5 months. Give the guy a break, like we give every other manager a break. They are winning games, Spurs. They are playing good football. Give him a break. It's not, if they are making mistakes and they're losing games, I would understand it. But they aren't losing games. So this criticism, yes, the defense is wide open. This is a fact. You concede a lot of chances, more than what you should, especially for a team that has 60+% possession all game. But these mistakes are going to happen until you learn, or until you get better players.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the players, maybe they need more time, maybe they're not good enough. We'll never know.
And disclaimer for anyone who doesn't know, Liverpool's not his team. That's not his club. And Mo, I don't want to
people
speak.
think I'm a Liverpool fan.
I think a few people in the chat may think you're biased towards Liverpool because that's your club. That's not his club. His club is not even in the Premier League. So that's why I like his.
Well, I can move my chair and you can see who I support. So it's simple as that.
Well, no, I do want to move away from the Liverpool thing. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I think I like the fact that history's going to say victory for Tottenham Hotspur. I do like that.
Nobody will remember this. Promise you, 1 year from now, nobody will remember this. If people will remember that you won against Liverpool, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, no one's still thinking about Oliver Skip and the fact that half his face is missing from, and it's still in the bottom of Diogo Jota's boot. We're not talking about that from last year. We all talk about. My chair just fucking went down for some reason. But big up everybody. I do want to pivot a little bit and start talking about the fact that Tottenham Hotspur started to pick up some injuries. Came out yesterday. Maynard Solomon. Obviously, Tottenham Hotspur have tweeted it. That they've confirmed, I guess is what it is, that Maynard Solomon. Here we go. But that's the wrong tab. Share this tab. So Perisic got an ACL injury. Maynard Solomon, meniscus injury, and he had surgery today. So, Mo, I don't know if you knew this, but our left wing is getting ever so smaller. The left wingers there, our options at least. Bentancur, he's been rehabilitating, getting a little bit closer, not close at all. I've heard Brian Hill. This was obviously a rumor that I saw about Ivan Toney leaving in January with Tottenham and Chelsea being destinations. I've heard people. Mo, let me ask you real quick before we keep talking about Tottenham Hotspur. Do you think there's any validity to stuff like this when Football Insider leaks a fact saying that Ivan Toney is considering leaving Brentford is like, I'm considering having a ham sandwich for lunch, but I might also have a turkey sandwich. I might not even have a sandwich at all. You know what I mean? Like, you could really write an article about what I'm going to have for lunch, and if you say I'm considering it, that means anything could be true. Do you put validity in any things like this, or
Yes.
do you think that...
Yes. There is no smoke without fire. That means he's spoken to somebody. That means there's an agent that asked. That doesn't mean that the club that inquired and he
Okay.
said that he's open to a move. I think that's what it is.
I've been seeing a bunch of content creators saying that it's Arsenal. How come...
It is Arsenal. I don't know what is this. Most likely it will be Arsenal. I don't know why it says Spurs. However, why would Ivan Toney go to Spurs where he was an Arsenal supporter? That doesn't make sense.
I personally don't know if I want a guy who's willing to, just because some chick in a bikini says, hey, get on camera and say fuck Brentford, come over here and say fuck Brentford, and then he would actually do it while he's still employed. So I don't trust it that a pair of titties wouldn't just get him to be able to say fuck Spurs, so I don't trust his judgment necessarily. I think he's a hell of a footballer. I've watched him since he was in the championship. I like to watch the championship and always see, kind of who's going to come up to the Premier League next, who went down, how are they looking, are they going to stay down, are they going to come back up? and what kind of players you might be able to find from different clubs and such. And Ivan Toney, for me, he was impressive in the championship, and I wondered if it would translate well, and it's absolutely translated well. I think he would make whatever team he goes to very well. I don't see why he'd go to Chelsea above any.
Someone said he's a Liverpool fan, maybe, but I thought in an interview he said that he wants to join Arsenal, something like that. That's what maybe that's what Arsenal fans tell us. Every club they tell us that the player wants to join their club, so maybe they're right. You know what I mean?
I like what you said there. There's no smoke without fire, because I was thinking about stuff like this, like when it gets leaked, that someone had to have said something to somebody, right? Whenever I hear and I'm seeing reports that Gift Orban in the summer agreed to terms and then now it never happened, it's like that's the first part of getting a deal done, is agreeing to personal terms, club to player, and then you agree club to club. So I always wonder, I'm just real quick, a little caveat on Gift Orban. He's failed to score yet again today. I was watching him. What a boring match that was. Tel Aviv versus Ghent. Yeah. I watched it for Gift Orban. His body language isn't good. He looks like a person who may have agreed to terms with a big club, and then all of a sudden it didn't happen, and now he's still playing where he's playing. And you know what? It is what it is. Sorry, my doorbell just rang. I want to make sure my wife's able to get that. But big up everybody in the chat. Keep hitting those likes. We are on about almost 90 people in the chat, so keep hitting the likes. If I see 56 likes, Shirley, but don't call me Shirley, we can hit them likes up. Whether you agree or disagree with anything we're saying, hitting a like doesn't necessarily mean that you have to agree with us. It just means that you appreciate the content. It's for free. Costs you absolutely nothing. I see 81 votes. 81 votes, 57 likes. What are we doing? 42% says the word Spursy is the biggest myth around Tottenham Hotspur, and 36% says the fact that Spurs, or the myth that Spurs are trophyless, is another big myth. The haters only have 14% saying Ange can win a trophy with us. That's a big myth. We have a myth coming up at the weekend, Tottenham Hotspur. So all signs are pointing to, where is it? Well, see, there's Tottenham. They tweeted about Solomon, which actually really sucks.
It's very sad, though. Yeah, it's like, I don't know who's gonna play left wing for you now. This point.
I think it's gonna be Richarlison. I saw Son was in training videos. He's been training with the first team, so it looks like Son's gonna be healthy. He'll run through the middle. I think Richarlison's gonna get to start at left wing again, like we saw versus Liverpool, and I think it'll be the same there. I am pulling up Mo's channel, so anyone go over there and subscribe.
No, yeah, it's all right. I think it's in the disc. It's in the title. So
it is in the title, but sometimes it helps seeing it in the chat. Sometimes it helps. You see it in the chat, you click on it.
Because someone is atting me at Mo. Someone's saying at Mo, and I'm like, who's Mo?
Oh, it says at Mo. Yes, he has said he wants to go to Arsenal.
Yeah, man, listen.
And Tone says he's definitely.
I think Ivan Toney is going to be all about the money, and I don't believe that Spurs will actually be able to pay him the wages that Chelsea and Arsenal will offer. It's as simple as that. You agree on this? Like you won't pay him the weight. You won't pay him the 200 plus K a week.
No.
To get him. So that's the thing.
I mean,
it's very hard. Because you'll have to make him higher than a lot of your players, and so I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think. But I think he would absolutely suit Ange Postecoglou, in my opinion.
Yeah. A question from Mo: does he think Spurs will be consistent enough this season to secure a Champions League spot?
Yes, I put after the first 4 weeks, when after the transfer window closed, and I saw Manu Solomon and Van de Ven was over the line, I thought I put you fifth, considering that Man United will get better, but now Man United aren't it at all. So I think you're front runner to be fourth, in my opinion.
Yeah. Jazz Fusion here says Spurs wouldn't pay for Rhea. Yeah, why would we pay for Tony if we wouldn't go pay? It's interesting, and honestly, I'm not too upset with some of the business that Tottenham Hotspur has done as of late. How do you see it? We got James Maddison for 40. We sent Harry Winks the other way, ostensibly making that deal worth 30 mil to us for James Maddison, which I'm saying is the signing of the summer, hands down. Then we've got Destiny Udogie, who's come back from loan. He's looked absolutely phenomenal. We signed Mickey Van de Ven.
You know that Maddison is my favorite player in the Premier League.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he is.
He's absolutely. I mean, I don't even want to think
and
about.
And that has nothing to do with Spurs. that was Leicester. I actually just like the way he plays football, but I just like to see him play football. In my opinion, he's a very. I actually was before that. I said that he deserves to play more minutes in the England in the World Cup. I thought it was injured. I don't know. I can't remember if he was injured or not, but I thought it was fit.
You know what's interesting about James Maddison is I always didn't like him, but that's because he always played so well against us, and I thought he was like one of those. God, I hate this guy. You know, he's one of the guys I think you hate when he's not on your team, but as soon as he comes to your team, for me, this is my experience at least, because I was like, he used to talk shit about Gareth Bale, which to me, you don't talk shit about Gareth Bale. Them's fighting words. You talk about Gareth Bale. And
Why is he talking shit about Gareth Bale?
He was
About
16 years old. He had some tweets where he was calling Gareth Bale a bunch of names, hoping that Spurs get battered and shit. And these are old tweets. He was 16 years old. We all say stupid shit at 16. So I forgive him for that. But at the time, you know, I'm looking at him at Leicester. I'm like, this guy's talking shit about Spurs. He doesn't like Spurs. Anytime we play him, he plays like he really hates us because he plays so damn well. And so that's what made me not like him. But, you know, I think that's just a testament to how great of a player he is, because as soon as he came here, I saw him play one match and was like, wow, I actually love this guy.
he's ridiculous, isn't he? He's ridiculous.
And also, you know, kind of like we were talking about with Ange, the way he handled himself in the media. Kane just left. You're now wearing Kane's number, and they ask him, is it too big of a shirt to fill? He's like, no, it's about a medium. He just seemed like he didn't care, cool as a cucumber. And I like that. I like the people that's just, you know, I feel like if someone would have said that to Kane in a reverse situation, who knows how he handles that situation in the media. Same thing with Jose Mourinho in regards to Ange Postecoglou.
Can I ask you something related to Kane, since you?
Uh-oh. Yes, of course. You can ask me
Do
whatever
you think
you want.
if you genuinely, if Kane is still here today after 7 games in the Premier League, would you be saying that we will challenge for the league? We will go toe to toe with the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal. Maybe not City, because nobody knows City what is going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, do you think you would have been there? You would have been more confident about this Ange ball?
Kane being present doesn't change how confident or my hopes for where I see this project going. I think, if anything, the fact that Kane has left has removed.
It's not a project. It's not a project, Jacob. I'm talking about this season.
This season specifically, my
I'm talking
expectations.
about after 7 games now, you are where you are. I've seen Spurs fans say that we will battle for top 4. We are the closer to top 4 than any other team, maybe Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm keeping the same energy I had in the summer, which was I just want to see us instilling a philosophy of entertaining football, which is what was promised to me by Ange Postecoglou, and I want to see us starting to make changes in the roster that look like we're building something for the future. Now, Mickey Van de Ven coming in at 21 years old solidifies that. We signed Ashley Phillips, one for the future. Alejo Veliz, another one for the future. We've established that there's going to be a pathway from the academy to our first team, something I've complained about for years. So there's been a lot of things that I've asked for as a fan, as a content creator of Tottenham Hotspur, that I've begun to get, and it's all happening after Harry Kane has left. I don't think it's a coincidence either. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're playing so well and so free, because we've taken a guy who was a shoe-in captain and he's now gone, and it was now up to Son, Maddison, and Romero to step up and be the face, the voice, the person in the locker room who puts their face on the line and is really that voice between Ange Postecoglou and the whole entire squad. So my point with Kane is I think we see a completely different Tottenham Hotspur at this juncture if he's still here. So the fact that he's gone, I think, is boding better to the fact of how the locker rooms, the way that the locker room is gelling together. I don't think it gels the same way if you still had Kane there. Because remember, Kane's best friends were Matt Doherty and Eric Dyer and Ben Davies. Those are his friends. And if he's still there, I bet you Dyer's still sniffing around the club. So Dyer's been on the 20 once. And I'm so thankful that it has been just the once, because everyone still said if Ainge comes in here and plays Eric Dyer and plays these Sanchez and these players that we've been talking about, this is we have turned a page. And part of that page is Harry Kane leaving. And I'm just glad to see where we're at. But as far as to answer your question, I know I kind of went in a long roundabout political, like a politician would, and not really answer the question while trying to answer the question. directly, no, I don't think Kane would make me feel more confident now.
All right.
No,
I
but
just wanted to
Kane
know
Kane
from
in
a
any
Spurs
squad
point of
is.
view.
Kane in any squad is an upgrade at the position. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to, just because he's gone, I'm not going to change the way I talked about him before. I still think he is the world's best striker at this current moment. The most complete striker in the world right now is Harry Kane. I'd be interested to see how he plays in. I think if he was here, I'd feel a lot better about the fact that Solomon and Perisic are both getting surgeries done on their knees. I'll put it that way. Having a world-class striker, you always feel better about. But as far as does it make me feel better about our outlook going forward and 3-4 years in the future? No, because he didn't want to be here. I don't want people that don't want to be here, first and foremost. Son, at every juncture, has proven that he wants to be here. That was always my captain choice. And seeing him as a captain, flourishing as a captain, honestly, I'm just enjoying the way that it's going, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So I do want to pivot. I know you got to go in about 15 minutes, right, for El Aragua and at This Is Football with Hassam and Staffy and the boys. So I don't want to keep you too long. The show will go on longer after Mo leaves, so don't worry. But while I have you here, I do want to get your thoughts. So the theme of today, my thought around today was I saw this tweet that I'm sharing right here from shout out at whoever the fuck on Twitter. Says he just listed all these curses that are coming up for us. Manager of the Month nomination curse. He just won Manager of the Month and he got nominated again. And so we have Tottenham Hotspur. These are the curse, the myths. And I did a show a while back about Heung-min Son and the fact that he's breaking all these myths. Everyone said he lost a bit of pace. He was gone. He doesn't want to be here. He's not a leader. He's not vocal enough. He's shutting all those people up. And they ain't saying shit now about Son. They talking to Son nicely. And I like to see it because when it comes to Heung-min Son, Heung-min Dad, you need to talk to him nicely, is my opinion. So he's broken curses. And my thought is Ange Postecoglou is the guy to break all the curses for good or for bad. Think about the curse Manchester City. I think they're going to come to Tottenham Hotspur and this will be the season that they get their first goal at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think they will break that curse because of how open we play and the fact that we're going to allow them to play. I mean, that's going to be match of the week, if I'm not mistaken. City versus Tottenham at home. That's going to be a great matchup. But without looking too far ahead, these are some simple curses that we face on the weekend. So he just got nominated for Manager of the Month again in the second consecutive month, as you know, Mo, which is a curse for our manager. Shout out Nuno Espirito Santos. And then we also have a third kit curse where no matter what our third kit is, we always get. We got knocked out the Carabao Cup in our third kit, our infamous blue. I loved our blue one with the collar. It was light blue. It was like right when our stadium just opened, and it was a very beautiful, beautiful kit. And I don't think we even won a single match. I think the best result we had in them was a draw. So everyone said it was the curse of the third kit. And then early kickoffs. We've known that early kickoffs have kind of been a crux in our heels, so to speak, for Tottenham Hotspur. And going against newly promoted club curse, we tend to usually drop some points against these folks, newly promoted clubs, for some reason or another. For me, I'm attributing that to the mindset, the mentality, a bunch of losers that we had in the locker room. When you have Eric Dyer, which is the epitome of loser mindset, and he's going in like, oh, I'm better than this club and that club, they just got promoted. Of course, we're going to drop points during that match. So my thought here is Ange Postecoglou is going to break all these curses. We're going to shatter the doors off. I've been hearing a lot of Spurs fans, content creators specifically. Shout out to all the Spurs content creators out there. This isn't a direct dig at any of them, but I've been seeing people hesitate. I was a little hesitant, Mo. And then I started hearing all these people like, this is the perfect little banana peel for us to slip up on. Luton just got their first league win not too long ago. We have all these curses and these things that go against us. I feel like Ainge is going to put all these to bed. Now, a lot of people don't like these kits. I see you, Cappuccino Kit's going to put in the work. I want a Cappuccino Kit. I'm not going to lie. Big up Mr. K. But for me, none of this means shit when it comes to Ange Postecoglou. The Spurs ain't done this. Yeah, but it's Tottenham. This is the history of the club, et cetera, et cetera. I think all that is getting put to bed one at a time. And the only thing we can do is do it one at a time. Now, we have Luton Town, which a lot of people feel like we should win. But Spurs content creators, they've been hesitantly saying, let's not, I could see us dropping points here. This could be the one. And I feel like people are just waiting for the moment they can say, look, Ange is not invincible. They can be beaten. Do you think Luton Town can pull one over on Tottenham Hotspur this weekend, Mo?
This is going to be 4-0 Spurs.
Okay, I like
And I'm
that.
being genuine. I don't know why people... Luton won one game against a terrible Everton side, one of the worst in the league. They just lost at home yesterday against Burnley. Right? Spurs...
No, they kind of got done hard there. They should have had a penalty. They were looking very attack heavy in that second half. They were going for it at least.
If they go for it against Spurs, they would lose heavily as well. I think if they defend, they will lose. If they go for it, they will lose. There is no comparison here between the two clubs. I've watched Luton a couple of times. They're absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious, in my opinion. They have championship players trying to play in the Premier League. I think they're one of the worst teams in the league. With all due respect, they're just not it. I think Spurs will go to the game very confident. Ange Postecoglou isn't going to think about all of this shit, all this mess, all this just freaking omens or whatever thing that you guys are talking about. He's
The
sitting up-
hoodoo. Get the bad hoodoo.
He's just freaking... He's sitting up his team. He's like, you're telling me if Arsenal go play Luton away from home, if Chelsea, in their worst position, going to play Luton away from home, they will think about curses and stuff like this. Give me a break. Seriously,
That's
give me a
hilarious.
break, bro. Like, no, it's not even close. It's not even a discussion.
I do follow Elijah Adebayor. He's a left winger there. He hasn't started. He did come off the bench versus Burnley and get their goal for him, and they looked a little bit different when he came on the pitch. Now, I'm not saying he can or that he will, but do you think Pedro Porro has done enough progressively in these matches to show that defensively he's not going to get caught out by some random left winger who can get in behind him?
He might, but that's the whole point, Trent. The only one in the league that doesn't get caught out is Kyle Walker, and he made a mistake in the beginning of the season. Everybody does. Gomez does. Trent does. Everybody does makes mistakes. It's all about the team. I think you will dominate position. You will pin them back, and on the counter attack, you have Van de Ven and Romero. Both are quick. Van de Ven is so quick, and on the counter attack, I don't think you should fear them at all. And if they come out of their place and try to attack you, this is not even going to be close. You rip them apart. This is how I see the game. If anybody asks me about this game, I'm predicting. I'm literally, genuinely, this is 3-0 Spurs. Genuinely.
But see, that is the Spursy myth here. That is the Spursy curse that I'm speaking on, Mo. That this should be a 3-0, 4-0 victory. I feel that way as well. I look at the roster, I look at the clubs, I look at the fact that this is the first time they've ever been in the Premier League. We are a top 6 in the Premier League. We should go out there and put the work on them. But usually when Spurs should do something like lose a match, they don't. When Spurs should go out there and win a match against a Luton Town, a recently promoted kit, and our third kit, all the jazz, early kickoff, we should win this game.
I'm not a believer in these things, but yeah, fine. I actually don't. Genuinely, I don't. I don't believe in like early kickoff curse, third kit curse.
Think about it.
I believe
from
in
an
one
athlete
thing.
standpoint, you've played the match real quick. Well, I just want to
Go ahead.
as a player. So when I played, I was very much like, if it's game day, if it's the day before a game, I had a specific schedule and a regimen. Now, if the schedule's different and kickoff time is different, you have to shift everything up a few hours. But if you have young kids who aren't used to the regiment, the style, or maybe they don't need that like I do, you don't think that can absolutely play a trick onto people's minds thinking,
No,
what if you usually take a shit at noon and now you're kicking a ball off at noon? It's like your body's a little thrown off.
The only thing that plays in people's minds is that if you haven't won against a certain team for years, like we just played the first game of our season was against the second team of last year in our season here, and we lost against them home and away for the last 6 years. And we beat them 1-0. But we went to the game nervous, thinking that we're going to lose. 100%. That's the only thing. If you go to the stadium and you don't win, like Man City go to Spurs, it's in their head. It's in the coach's head. It's in the fans' head. But this early... I promise you, this early kickoff, certain time, a kit, nobody thinks about that in the game. Once you put in the shirt and you step on the pitch, you don't think the clock is 12:30 kickoff in the UK.
But your
You don't think that.
body, but if your body
No,
internally, your organs, your
don't,
digestive system.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that it's all about the stadium you're going to. Like if you go into like Anfield and you haven't won ever before, that's what you think about. If you haven't won again, it's a certainty. For example, just giving Wolves play Bournemouth and they haven't won against them for 10 years. They will think about it, especially if the players are there, because the media will remind you about that. The players don't look at the early kickoffs. They don't look at that. They don't. I promise you. I actually believe that it's not. This is not gonna. They never think about it. The kit, third kit. Come on. I used to have a coach when I was younger. He used to tell me, because I used to fight always for number 7, but that's before Cristiano Ronaldo even played football, because I used to like Luis Figo, and he used to tell me the shirt doesn't play. It's what's inside the shirt. It's what's inside the jersey that plays. The number doesn't play. Nobody knows your number on the pitch. It doesn't matter.
But it feels nice having that number. I'll put it that way. Speaking of feels nice to have something, before you go, have a treat for you. I don't know if you're ready for this or not. He texted me. He wanted in, and he's like family of the channel, so I have to let him in. His name is Sean from Spurs Talk Show. He's asking for the link. I don't know if it's to talk to Mo or talk to me or talk to us both, but everybody say hello to Sean. Big up, Bren. Good morning.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Sean. How you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing? How you doing, Mo? You okay?
I'm all right. I'm good.
You guys are both growing moustaches and things. What you need to
he's got a goatee.
Like...
Yeah, I just got the stash. I call it the freedom stash. Yeah.
We like it. Yeah. How's everything going?
How's everything?
I don't know what you've been talking about. I just thought I'd come on and say hello. I saw you were live.
Oh, we were talking. I was bringing up the fact that Ange Postecoglou is breaking every myth and curse known to Spurs, and Mo saying that he doesn't believe in any of it. The fact that we're wearing a third kit, the fact that we're kicking off early, the fact that we're playing a newly promoted club in Luton, and the fact that we should go win this naturally lends any Spurs faithful, I think, to just for at least a little bit in their mind say, we might be in for something here. Sean, are you at all concerned about all these myths leading up to Saturday?
I didn't know there were any myths, mate, to be honest. I am concerned.
There's myths.
I'm concerned about the game. I think that after everything that's
there's myths.
I'm not concerned about any of that stuff. But I am concerned about the game. I'm concerned about the month. No, I'm concerned about the fact that Tottenham have managed to scrape through 2 big games, games that my man Mo here thought that Tottenham had no chance against. And
the one that gave you against Liverpool, I said, yeah, you might actually get that after I watched the Arsenal game.
No, it's all good.
To be honest, after I watched the Arsenal game.
Yeah, after the Arsenal game. The Arsenal game, he said we were going to get torn open like a stripper.
100%.
But that's in the past. But I do think that Tottenham players need to keep their eye on the prize here, because these are the sorts of banana skins that can really ruin your momentum. And you know what, Jacob? There's a hell of a lot of salty rival fans right now that would love nothing more.
Yeah,
there's a lot of tough games this weekend, right? You got Liverpool, Brighton. You got Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle have got a tough. There's a lot of tough games, but right now I think most neutral fans, after what's happened over the last 2 weeks, everybody thinks that Tottenham fans are getting a little bit punchy. And they would love it if Tottenham were to drop points. And that's why Tottenham players, and under Ange, they have to have their eyes on the prize and make sure that there's no slip-ups. And I'm going to the game. I'm one of the lucky 800 Tottenham fans that have got a ticket. And I want to go there knowing that Tottenham are...
You got a ticket to the Luton Stadium?
Yeah.
Are you a season ticket holder for Spurs?
Yeah.
Okay. So you must be high on points, because the stadium is too small. I know the away section is very small in the Luton Town
it's
Stadium.
Tiny. No, I didn't get my points. I didn't get the ticket through my points. I got a ticket through my contacts.
All right.
Yeah. Someone help me out. But yeah,
anyway, I
have to know people, right, Sean?
I have to step out, Jacob. So thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Sean. Let's link up, Sean, soon. We'll get you to talk about Spurs and give me some stick for maybe a month from now. You're still gonna give me that I didn't give you a chance against Arsenal. You remember that?
Yeah, I'll be riding that broomstick the whole way home to Halloween, my man.
Until you lose a game, you'll be riding that.
You know it, my man. You know it.
Oh no! But thank you everybody for being here. Make sure before I go to hit that like button. There's about 90 people here, so hit that like button. Let's get Jacob to 100 likes. And thank you, Jacob, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Big up. Appreciate that.
Thank
yep,
you,
and
everybody.
the link for Mo's channel is in the title to the video, so you cannot miss it. It is in blue. Click it. It'll take you to his channel. Hit that subscribe, and then come on over back. We'll be talking more. But Mo, thank you so much, my Texas brethren. You stay cool in the Lone Star State, my friend.
See you guys.
Sean, I've got you all to myself now, and I don't know what is more delectable, a prime rib steak or having Sean all to myself. But I got you here, so let's talk about it. Are you worried about Maynard Solomon, left wing option? Son is in the training videos. He's training with the squad. Where are you at as far as this lineup for Saturday?
No, I'm worried, mate. I'm worried. Not so much about Manuel Solomon, because I don't really... To be honest, I've not been that impressed with him, mate. I think he's... I don't know. Not sure. Not sure about him. If he's out for 3 months now, he was out for 7 months of last season. He's been out for more than 50% of his time at Shakhtar. I think we've got an absolute Ryan Sessegnon on our hands. And I think we need to plan for the... I think you have to shake hands with the reality that a free transfer...
Solomon's as bad as Sessegnon?
Injury... Well, he's statistically, injury-wise, 100%. He's worse. He's missed.
Yikes.
He's. I don't know how old he is, but he's missed more time. He's spent more time
23, I think.
He spent more time on the sidelines than he has in the availability squad, and that's a problem. You know, like this is the thing. Sometimes when you make decisions around buying players that are free transfers that have talent, then Zappa saying Solomon was free. He was free, but we've obviously taken up. You know, I don't know how much he's getting paid, but. At the end of the day, he's taking up a squad space. He's a good player when he's fit, but he's just not fit enough, regularly enough, and that is to me, you know, just a headache. So like when you sit there and go, oh, when people say we shouldn't be worrying, we got so many options on the width, we don't really, especially with the long termers. So,
well, I think looking at our attack, our attack was something that I think we all felt like, okay, we have some options. But now, one by one, those options are slowly dwindling. I don't know if it's the training regimen, if it's the physio room, or what, but something's going on. Them left wingers are falling like damn flies around a stinky pile of shit. And it's like, for me, something that we were already concerned with, which was the depth, we are now even lighter and thinner than we were. We were thin as some, you know, if you go to the butcher around here, they'll slice you some slices of ham. They slice that some bitch so thin. You better make sure they don't put their thumb on it when they weigh it tight thin. So my point being is we are that thin in our squad depth. I'm concerned, but I think the starting 11, we talked about it a little bit on Henry Wright's show yesterday, that I would go with the strongest starting 11 possible. If that means Son can start, then absolutely go for it. If Madison, Basuma, the other doubts, I know Brennan Johnson's out. We know now Solomon is out. He had surgery today. Anyone having surgery in the middle of the season, to me, that's a red flag. That's alarming because surgery, an invasive surgery, is always something that's going to put you out for a little bit of time. But so I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily.
No, I really don't like the phrase invasive. There's something about it that makes me feel. Yeah, there's something about the word like invasive surgery. It feels like it's offensive. It feels like it's getting in places it shouldn't be. It feels like it's
you don't know what they're doing when they knock you out. You don't know what they're up to. They could.
You don't belong there. You wake up and you go, "Wait, what happened? What happened? What happened?" You know, and then suddenly you're feeling around and you're going, "Think about that ache shouldn't be there. Why have I got a pain in that part of my body? I had a problem in my ankle. Why does I have a pain somewhere else?" You know, this is what I think.
Why do I have to sit on one cheek and not both of them? What is this about, officer?
Exactly.
Pick up everybody.
Why have I got a bedpan? What's going on here? You know.
But you know, I say invasive because usually invasive ones they require some anesthesia of sorts. Now, like getting a tooth pulled, I would say is non-invasive because that they just go ahead and hit you with some lidocaine, and they pull the sucker out, stick some gauze on it, and say see you later. At least that's how they do it in Mexico, and it'll cost you about $50. Fuck American dental system, they're trying to rob you. They tried to charge me 2 point.
What you do when you need a root canal? Or
Absolutely, $80 for a root canal, 55 to get it pulled.
That's what you do. You go across the border. How far's the border?
I could look out my window and look at Mexico.
Really?
I can see it's downtown. I look out my patio. It's downtown El Paso, and then it's Juarez.
And when you get in your car and you drive, but do you have to go through like
drive over a bridge to get over there? No, to get over there, you just fucking cross a bridge and you're in there. To get back, there is a line. Yeah,
well, it used to be. Not so much anymore, right? Not since open borders and all that stuff. Since the new administration, it seems a bit.
No,
more
it still takes a while because when you're coming back, they're like, what was your business doing there? What were you doing there? And usually when you go to the dentist, what I like is they pull out a tooth and I say, let me keep it, please. And then I keep it in a little baggie. And then I go to the border and they're like, what were you here for? This is why I'm here, officer.
Yeah, just make sure you don't pull out the wrong baggie.
Yeah. No, because then the dogs will be on you. You don't want to pull out that baggie. Big up Igor. Big up everybody in the chat. We are over an hour here on the show. So hit that like if you haven't already. I see 83 likes. How many votes do we have in the poll? 103 votes. Shirley, but don't call me Shirley. We can get the ratio of votes to likes a little bit closer and let them touch and canoodle a little bit. Just like our wingers like to hug. What's that?
What was the poll?
The question for today is, what is the worst myth around Tottenham Hotspur? And here's the 4 options, Sean. Right now in the lead is the word Spursy is the biggest myth around Tottenham Hotspur. Second place, the biggest myth is that Spurs are trophyless. And then the next 2 options are, the biggest myth is that Ange can win a trophy with us. That's for Scott M. I always give a Scott M answer. And then the 4th choice is the biggest myth is that a manager of the month, plus early kickoff plus 3rd kit equals an automatic loss, which is something that's I think I remember versus Sheffield during lockdown, we played in our 3rd kit, early kickoff, if I'm not mistaken, and then they beat us 2-0. So that wasn't fun at all. So there's the myth around that. What? I
had a £20 bet today.
Yeah, I heard you on your show. I know what you did. You get the odds? I heard your bet, but let's tell the people who missed it.
18-1, yeah.
Because I was watching your show earlier with Johnny, and I don't think you said what the odds were, but you said that I'm gonna place a bet.
I just did it. I was on an Arsenal fan show. Lee Judges, the guy from AFTV. I was on his channel with Henry and Dan Potts, and I said on there, I was like, we were talking about the game, and I said, look, I've got to be honest. I'm terrified. I'm going to the game. And I'm worried that Tottenham are going to drop the ball because I think this is the sort of thing that happens at Tottenham. And I am going to protect myself by having a £20 bet that Tottenham lose 1-0. And if it comes in, if we do lose, then I'll win £400 or £380 or whatever. And I will be £360 plus my £20 back. And I will feel a little bit less bad about the fact that we dropped the ball. And then Dan Potts said, but what happens if you lose 2-0 or 2-1? And I was like, I haven't covered all those bases yet, but I don't see that happening. All I see happening is Tottenham peppering them for 90 minutes, but they will have a chance. And they've got that guy. What's the guy's name? I've got it here. Hang on a second. The fastest player. His name is Chidozie Ogbene. Chidozie Ogbene. He's apparently the fastest player in the Premier League. Plays for Luton. Did you know that? You're on mute.
I did not know that. How great of me to be on mute. I did not know that this guy was the fastest. So you're saying that he's faster than Adama Traore. Let me ask you this. Is he more wet than Adama Traore?
I don't know if he's slicker. I don't know.
Say no. I don't even know this guy.
All I know is that he's the fastest guy in the Premier League this season. I don't think that Mickey Van der Ven, your boy, I'm not sure that Mickey, my man, Jacob's man, Mickey Van der Ven, the guy who introduced me to Mickey Van der Ven, however you say it. he's the fastest centre back in the Premier League, and I don't think that Van der Ven's got out of third gear yet. But technically, Ogbene is the fastest player, and I can just see something happening.
He's from Ireland. He's from Ireland. I just looked at. And apparently he's the guy who has taken the guy's spot that I was watching, which is Elijah Adebayo. He was a left winger. I was watching them last season in the playoffs. He was very good for them last season in the playoffs. And I've been keeping an eye on him. He's done all right. I mean, he came off the bench, got their goal versus Burnley in their last match in Elijah Adebayo. But apparently this is the guy that's taking his spot. I can go ahead and share that here so y'all can see who we're talking about. This is the guy.
What website are you using?
SofaScore.
Okay.
Chidozie Ogbene. Very interesting. Big up Phil Coys. I'll take this comment down. He's from Ireland. Look at that. Shout out Dave Hotspur and the Irish Hotspur.
No.
That's very nice.
Fastest,
26.
fastest player. Apparently the fastest player in the Premier League this year. I'm just listening to someone else talking about. Johnny told me that today. And I was like, okay. Well, you know what? There's a rationale for me to think, do I want to lose 20 quid? I'm happy to do it if it means Tottenham win. Do I see Luton winning in any other scenario other than a 1-0 smash and grab? No. So should I put 20 quid and what's the odds? It was 18 to 1 and I was like 360 quid plus your 20 quid back. I'll swallow the bitter pill of loss towards Luton a little bit easier if there's 360 notes that just break down that kind of big gulp in my throat. So that's why I put my bet on.
Ryman's son says, I'm going to put 1,000 on that bet. Thanks, Sean. He's going to put 1,000 on that 18-1 odds. So just in case it does happen.
I'm not sure what you put. What currency we're working in here, Ryman?
Maybe 1,000 rupees. That's how much I'll put on it. Zapur, 360 pounds for that. Yeah. I mean, I guess that would make me feel a little bit better.
Look at Rick C. Look Rick C saying you're a disgrace banging. I knew this was gonna. It's been coming. It's been coming.
Where?
I'm not wishing. I'm not hoping. I want us to win. I'm happy to sacrifice it.
Yeah, this is like.
I ain't got to explain it to you, bro. I ain't got to explain it. I'm fine with my rationale.
I understand the rationale. I don't know that I could consciously just like. Yeah, absolutely. And for you, I think it's everyone's different, right? They all can make bets on what they feel is morally okay. I would feel like I'm betting against my team quite literally and like emotionally if I did that. So I don't know that I could.
I'm not emotionally involved, mate. I gamble all day long, every day. I gamble on a million things. I bet on. That won't be the only bet that I make on the game. I will bet 25 different ways. I will have bets on Tottenham to win 4-0 and 5-1. I'll look for value, and I think at 18 to 1, Luton to win 1-0 is good value. That's why I do it. It's not because I'm betting against my team. I guarantee you, I'll have more bets that are in favour of Tottenham winning than against.
I'm not going to lie.
No, Rick. You're not joking, bro. No, bro. Like, no. You've said it now. Me and you ain't friends anymore. Nah, I'm only kidding.
Rick, I agree with Rick because honestly, when you said it on your show that you would place the bet for Luton to win 1-0 because the odds were great or whatever, I was going to type out a comment and I was going to be like, shame on you, Sean. Shame on you. But it is an insurance policy. I mean, it's like when you go skydiving, you don't just have one parachute, right? You have two, just in case the main sturdy.
Do you want to hear a story about parachuting and in terms of insurance policies? Yeah. So I was in Dubai a long time ago, 13, 14. I was probably 23, so maybe 15 years ago. I was in Dubai. I went to Skydive Dubai, or the Dive Dubai, whatever it's called, and it was it was at the time the highest skydive in Dubai or in the world. And I went there, and it's actually God's honest truth. So I was sitting there, and I was gonna do the kind of someone was gonna be on my back, right? And they give me an insurance policy, and I'm sitting there filling out like the indemnification thing, and I'm asking the question. I'm like, why? What on God's green earth is the point of filling out an indemnification on the company? I asked the woman who was asking me to fill it in. I said, why do you want me to do this? She's like, well, because you've got to like do the waiver. And I was like, yeah, but if something goes wrong in the air, the last thing I'm going to care about is going to be suing you because I'm dead, right? Like, if the parachutes fail, I'm out of here. So I don't.
With that
really care.
1% chance that you land on something soft or you get, something breaks your fall, you know. Plenty of people
just
falling
as I was
out.
saying that, I was turning around, I was saying this, I was like, okay, so I'm having this conversation, and then this guy comes over to me. He's in my shadow. He's behind me, but I can feel his presence. And then I see someone else come over and say to him, "Hey, are you okay, dude? Are you okay?" And the other guy's like, "Yeah." And I turn around, and this guy has got like, I don't know, two fingers worth of width. This deep, like half a inch burn from here all the way around here. Like, and it's like this deep. And it's this giant red red kind of scar. And I was like, "What happened to you, bro?" And he was like, "Yeah, the parachute failed. We got tangled up and the rope ripped around my neck." And I was like,
Ugh.
That's what the insurance thing's for."
You can't go suing because of the rope burn now. Poor guy.
Do you know I went along with it anyway. Do you know what else happened on that same trip? Sorry if this is a boring conversation for anyone who's watching. But you know what else happened? Michael Schumacher. Do you remember him? The Formula One driver?
That name sounds familiar.
Schumacher? Like the world's number one Formula One racing driver. He was like the kind of Harry Kane or the Cristiano Ronaldo of racing. He was
German former sports motor racing driver.
Michael Schumacher. He was Ferrari's number one world racer. He was on his off season. He was in the plane with me going up.
Oh my!
And I was like, "Oh my god!" 2 weeks later, he was in the skiing accident that he's been in a coma ever since. The guy finished his season. He then went skydiving with me. Not with me, but he was in the same plane as me. And then
he went with
later,
you, Sean. Say it. He went with you. Fuck that. He was with y'all. He texted you on his way there. Y'all met up before, got a coffee, and then went skydiving. Don't lie.
We had a couple of shots of Sambuca, and then we jumped out of the plane together. And I think it was about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe a month later or whatever. I'm back in England, and I find out that he's been in a skiing accident down the Alps, and he's been in a coma ever since.
I'm never going skiing. I'm never going skiing. That's that, because shout out Sonny and Cher. I love their little marriage that they had. But the skiing took him as well. And the skiing took out, what's his name? The German goalkeeper that Harry Kane plays with now. Someone probably said it. Manuel Neuer. Yeah. He got injured, same reason. That's scary, y'all. People just dying out here to ski. I mean, you just skiing, next thing you know, you hit a tree. And that's that. But you know what?
I go back because Steady as Shark is saying it's an amazing story. It's an even crazier story, but I feel like I haven't done it justice, so I'm going to save the entire thing and tell it in a better, more fluent version, because it was an absolutely insane afternoon, and I don't feel like I've done the whole story justice. But it was the craziest story of my life, and I feel like I failed on the delivery, Jacob. I'll be honest with you.
Well, you know what? In front of 100. It's okay. The 100 people here love. It's all about immaculate vibes, and you kept the vibes immaculate during the story because you went skydiving with Michael Schumacher, whom now I know who that is, and apparently everyone should know him, but I don't. But I want to say big up everybody in the chat. We are 11 likes away from 100, so if we could hit that, that'd be very. There's 111 votes in the poll, so Shirley, but don't call me Shirley. At least over 111 of y'all have come by and said what's up, so you can hit that like if you so choose, or hit the dislike. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters for the channel, but like the world's free and all that, and you can do as you please. I'm not forcing you to hit a like, but I encourage you to do so each and every time. Let's see here.
Phil
Look
Coy's,
at that.
It was 100% Michael, mate. It's the craziest story of my life.
Travis Pina says that story ruined my day. So there you go.
Sorry about
that. Big up Boon Seng Lee as well. Says kind of double, triple like. You always can create another Google account. You can hit a like, but I don't encourage you to do that. You can just hit a like. One for you is good enough for me.
You've got 94 different fake accounts. They're all watching right now.
I have mine. I have Jacob TV, and then I have. I did create a Google account that would, back before the channel was monetized, to get the watch hours up. I would just have a Google window open from like a separate profile, and it would just play. I'd just make a little playlist and have it play shit. Get 24 hours a day that way. So, but don't tell YouTube I did that. How about that? Yeah, fake accounts for picking birds. I think it means the ladies. But either way, we're going to move on. Shout out to 2 people who have subscribed throughout the entirety of this show. I want to say welcome to the United Spurs of America family for subscribing there. But going to keep it moving along on the next little bit of things that I had. So I did want to ask Mo this, but I do not have the chance to because he is gone. So, Sean, I'm going to ask you this now.
Why did he go so soon?
A show on a bigger channel is starting, and he had to go be a panelist over there. Yeah. It was Husam's channel. This is football, by the way. Let's share this. Oh, no, where'd it go? I clicked it away. There was something I was about to share with you, Sean. I was going to ask, see what you think. It's a very early prediction, and you know me, I like my early predictions. It's just a visual representation of who you... This is the... So right now, this is the race for the Golden Boot. And Son has been nominated for Player of the Month. Ange has been nominated for Manager of the Month. Son, 2 goals behind Erling Haaland. Do you think there's a chance that anyone could take this away from Erling Haaland and get the Golden Boot?
Yes. I don't think Haaland's playing spectacularly this season. I think he was terrible last night. I think he was awful, if I'm honest. But he finds a way to get it done. But in reality, and if we're talking realistically, it's going to require an injury. An injury to happen.
Akeef says if Haaland gets injured, yeah, then there's a chance. Everyone else saying no chance. Steady as Shark says Haaland is struggling without KDB.
He is steady. He is struggling a little bit without KDB. He's still going to score bags of goals because Man City have got so many creative outlets. But no, the answer is no unless Haaland gets injured. And he could get injured. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. And that's the thing. When we look at our squad, that I think lends itself a little bit to fear, because I try not to live my life in fear, Sean. But when you look at beyond our starting 11, that's when I start to worry, because one injury, if James Maddison is out, then Son's output is going to look a lot different, I would think. If Basuma's out, Son's output is going to look a lot different, I would think. So there are injuries, I feel like, from all angles that could affect everybody. I mean, Arsenal just last week were screaming injury crisis, and now today, after Solomon having surgery, now we're a little bit on the side of, are we entering a crisis mode? I don't think it's crisis yet with our injuries, personally. Sean, are you concerned with where we're at as far as how many people are injured and just how early the season is on, that maybe we don't have enough reinforcements to get us through until January?
Yeah, I'm worried.
Yeah,
very much so. I feel like, yeah, 100%, mate. You can't not be. But listen, it all comes down to just luck. At the end of the day, every team that doesn't have massive amounts of squad depth, and that's the same for everybody. Everybody has to have to factor in luck. You know, for me, we're getting our fair share of bad luck. Arsenal have had theirs; they're figuring their way through it. Tottenham need to find a way to get results in spite of injuries, and obviously hope that there's nothing that's going to really, kick us in the arse before January. Lo Celso's injuries going under the radar. Most people didn't even know Lo Celso was injured, by the way. Like so many Tottenham fans are like, "Oh, if Maddison needs a break, just bring in Lo Celso." And I'm like, he's been injured. He's injured. But a lot of people don't even realize it because he hasn't played that very few minutes, right? So,
well, Lo Celso, I know, lives in the physio room anytime he's with Tottenham Hotspur. He's never available. So I've lived my life knowing that I'm never going to see a number 18, at least until this guy goes. Because even in the preseason, when I think he was fooling some Spurs fans into believing that he could be a suitable backup to James Maddison, I've never once felt like, yeah, this guy's going to come. He's not a Højbjerg mentality guy where, you know what, I don't want to be here. This isn't my jam. I don't want to play second fiddle at this position. I want to go somewhere else, but I'll still do my job to the utmost of my ability when I get my chances. Giovanni Lo Celso's not that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, oh, I slept wrong, my neck hurts, now I'm injured, I can't train today. He has no motivation to play for Tottenham Hotspur, never has. And at any moment when people are like, oh, now we're going to see. I love Johnny, but I had a huge argument with Johnny. I don't know on whose channel, but shout out at whoever the fuck's channel. I was there with Johnny, and Johnny was doing this whole, oh, Giovanni Lo Celso, he's got quality. I've seen him play with Argentina. If he could do that, and I said, bro, you're talking about a guy who, first of all, doesn't want to fucking be here. Second of all, can't wait until he can go play in Spain, where it's actually at his talent level. Same thing with Brian Hill, by the way. Just sorry, Brian Hill's going to catch a stray right there. But
wait. Hold up.
What?
You're sitting there saying that Brian Hill and Lo Celso are not of Premier League level.
Yeah. I don't think that they can play on a cold, rainy night as Stoke away. What is the old saying?
That's the thing.
Brian Hill is the guy. He wants the sun shining on him. He wants to bask in the, oh, it's just so beautiful. And like people don't play as rough here, and I get to have more of the ball. And his style lends it to the.
Sorry, when has Brian Hill had a bad game for Tottenham in the last 18 months?
I don't know, because he's doing the same thing you were just saying about Solomon, being injured all the time. He's injured more than he is available for us. He didn't even get to go on the damn preseason tour. He was injured before we even kicked the ball off. So it's like...
So you're not part of the Hill Messi clan?
Hell no. Hell no. And you know what, where it started, and yes, I am biased because of this, in the moment in which we were linked with, we could have and we should have done it, we did not. We instead went with Brian Hill and we shipped Lamella off for 25 mil. So to me, bad business. What have we gotten in return for that? One highlight clip against Crystal Palace, or what? What have we gotten? One assist to Harry Kane, one fall over in the box that got awarded a penalty.
All last year, you were like, you can't drop something. So,
wait, say again the first part.
All last year, you were like, you can't drop Sonny, right? You were anti.
The well, he was better than any of the other options. Sonny at his worst is better than Brian Hill at his best that I've seen, and I stand by that. I would always start Sonny over Brian Hill 100%.
I'm glad I know this. Why? Because I'm going to be holding you to the same energy when Brian Hill comes in and scores a hat trick in November.
I mean, again, this is the same thing with Richarlison, Kulusevski. I would love to be in the mud, because if I'm in the mud about Brian Hill, that means he's balling and he shut me the hell up. I hope he does. I heard he was supposed to be the Spanish Neymar. I heard all type of shit about this guy.
You can't force the take on, like, I was always pure about Richarlison. Like before we even signed him, I was like, don't want him. Now, because of that energy, that consistent energy that's been right the whole time, if he now does really well, then I can play the win-win, where I'm like, if he's wrong, if he's terrible, then I can say I told you. But if he scores a hat trick, then I'm in the mud, but Tottenham do well. So I've got that base covered where I can be the win-win. But you can't do that with more than one player at a time. And you're doing it with several.
Why not? That's like having bets. That's just what you did by hedging your bets. You got this bet going. You got this bet going for all potential outcomes.
I hedged the bet with one negative. I'm not sitting there putting 20 quid on 1-0 Luton, 2-0 Luton, 3-0 Luton, 4-0. I'd pick one scoreline. If Tottenham lose 2-1, I'm doubly in the mud. I lost money backing Luton and Tottenham lose. You get to pick one player. This is the rule.
You said you're looking for value. I'm looking for value. What value have I gotten on return? Tell me, with Brian Hill, with Richarlison, with Kulusevski. There's a difference there.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, sorry. I'm so glad. Are you on the anti-Kulusevski chain?
I'm not anti-Kulusevski. I'm just waiting till he stops frustrating me.
Oh, the energy. How about this? Here's the energy you're going to have to carry right now.
Okay.
This season. Yeah. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
If I'm going to say that there's a player that I'm about to talk about, I think you know who I'm going to talk about, but I'm just going to shout out the stats. And I'm going to see if you can figure out who I'm talking about. In the entire Premier League, this person is fourth in the Premier League, in the entire Premier League, for key passes. He is second in the Premier League for progressive passes received. He is third in the Premier League for passes inside the penalty area. He is fourth in the Premier League for shot creation actions. He is second in the Premier League for touches in the opponent's box. He is first in the Premier League for carries inside the penalty area. And he is first in the Premier League for progressive carries. Tell me again why you hate Dejan Kulusevski.
Because I feel like if you have the ball 100 times, surely, but don't call me Shirley, one of those chances you could lay that hoe up. Surely you could. I'm saying
he scored goals. He's got assists. This guy needs some respect put on his name.
Fair play.
He's frustrating. Like on the seeing eye, you see that I get annoyed as well. He's predictable.
I just like how many. I just specifically remember.
Rubber meets the road. He's fourth, second, first, and first in the Premier League for things that are materially impactful on the rest of the team. I've been screaming this about this guy. Yes. He does things that do not reflect in the stats.
I remember you were talking about his tracking back and the fact that he wins possession back for us in key areas and covers that right back position defensively.
This guy is a team player, and you, my man. Yeah, oof, indeed. Oof, indeed.
Oof. Hey, again, this is a guy. I just like. I'm so from before this season. So let me frame my juxtaposition here.
One particular, my man, and I love him to pieces. We're not talking right now. I love him to pieces, but there's a guy who absolutely hates Dejan Kulusevski, and I haven't got the ability to send this to him because we're not talking right now. But I hope that he hears this and sees this and goes, oof, about his opinion on Kulusevski, because that guy is in the top. Come on, bro.
I hear you, and stats don't lie. Numbers will never lie. They don't care about people's feelings. They don't care about what I see with my eyes, right? They're going to say what the facts are. So I appreciate you bringing those to the table. But when I watch 90 minutes of this guy, I say, how many times are you going to do the same fucking thing to where I'm just like, bro, as an oppositional coach, I say, hey, if 21's got that ball, you guess what he's going to do? Don't worry about his right foot. He may as well be peg leg Joe out there. It's all the left. Just worry about what he's doing with that left boot. And if you worry about that left boot, you'll be fine. Progressive carries into the box, that's fine. What does he do with those progressive carries into the box? Passes inside the box. Where are those passes going? Are they completed passes or are they passes in general? I want to know the ins and outs of these statistics. Let's break them down. Do you have a bullet point? I want to go through them and let's talk about them. So what was the first one?
Key passes. So passes that lead.
All right,
to
next
a
one. Next one. Key passes. Yeah, key passes. That's good. That's great. I love it. That's great.
Don't gloss over that one. Fourth in the Premier League. There's only three.
Great.
Players.
We're second in the table. We should be up there with some players doing something nice statistically.
Oh, really? Okay, but where's Madison's not third, second, or first, right? Sonny's not third, second, or first. Solomon's not third, second, or first. Richie ain't third, second, or first. Right, we're second in the league, so you're right. We should have people
I think on one of those stats about Kulusevski, Madison is the one that's above him. On one of those that Kulusevski's third or fourth in.
Oh, so you know the stats. So this isn't.
I've heard them. I've seen them. Yes, because I did do Sean. I did do an episode. I did do an episode. Am I sleeping on Kulusevski? I did do an episode like that.
You've been hating on Kulusevski, but you've heard the stats, but yet you've suppressed the stats because it didn't suit the narrative. And when I bring the stats up, I expose you for saying, "Oh, you know,
expose.
I got you.
Expose me."
Hatred, man. I love it.
No,
I love it. Let's keep going.
So it's not a hatred. It's just like, bro, I want to see him do. Look, you know me. I like Adama Traore. The stats aren't going to say Adama Traore does a bunch of things well, but I could sit up here for 30 minutes and tell you the things I think he does well and the things that I think he brings to an attack. Now, the same thing can be said about Kulusevski with and without the stats. So without the stats, before I heard those stats, I'd only heard about, I think it was 2 of them. I have the tweet still bookmarked. I have a show, and I pulled it up because anyone who tunes in...
Slightly ahead. No, I hear you. I hear the verbal diarrhea. How you've been exposed, Jacob, and you're trying to figure out.
What do you mean I've been exposed? I've openly look, Sean. I've openly sat here and I've said to everyone who tunes into this channel, I have said that I've opened the question with those stats that you provided, saying, have I been sleeping on Kulusevski? Does he do more than I give him credit for? Because I sit up here and I say, wow, after 90 minutes, Kulusevski was really the most out of when we're in a position where we're gluttons of picking good performances, right? We're in a position where it's like, I don't know who's the man of the match because we had like 5 different candidates. And then you look at, well, who's annoyed me the most this match? And it's Ben Kulusevski a lot has annoyed me out of everyone. So when I'm being nitpicky with how we're doing, like Kulusevski's absolutely, with those statistics that you've proved, he's vital to what we have done thus far. And I concede with that, and I will agree with that. And anytime I pick a starting 11, I don't pick someone over Kulusevski. I don't drop Kulusevski out of the starting 11. So that just to expose a little bit more of the underbelly here, Sean, I'm saying I watch back when I watch the game the second time, I say, damn, yeah, that is a little disappointing what he did there. And there's several times throughout each matches when I watch him back the first and the second time that I say, wow, that's a little disappointing there. Am I being nitpicky? Yes. Like it's like a bodybuilder when they're like, I have too much fat on my arm. Bro, you're chiseled. Shut the fuck up. Right? But when we're in a position where we're looking at like who is the weak link in this starting 11? Is there a weak link in the starting 11? And before the Solomon injury, you would still say potentially that left wing. And then where would the next potential weak link be in the starting 11? That's a genuine question. That wasn't hypothetical too. Like outside of the left wing, what's our next weakest position? In your opinion? In the starting 11, like which player?
Right wing.
You could say right wing or maybe right mid where Sarr is. You could say maybe Sarr could be upgraded on. Right wing is where we'd upgrade.
I think Pape Sarr, listen, against Liverpool, because of all the drama. Listen, let's move on to Sarr for a second. But before I do, I'm only getting with you about the Kulusevski thing. I got sent these statistics.
No, I love it. No,
I'm also highly critical of Kulusevski. His predictability is a massive issue, but I didn't know these stats were true. When I saw them, I was like, I'm going to keep that in my locker. And the next time I hear someone criticize him, I'm going to use it.
Sean, that's what I love about you. You keep the energy. You keep the same. That's the thing. You know my position on Hill. And you know how I was on Son this year. And that's why I've been banging my chest all year when he got the hat trick, then he got the brace, and he's been looking effective. I'm still banging my chest that he hasn't lost a bit of pace.
We need Brian Hill right now, bro. We need Brian Hill off the left-hand side. Otherwise, we're going to have to redirect and recalibrate a lot of different things, which is going to create a lot of unknowns. But moving back,
I've seen Brian Hill in the Premier League. I'm good on Brian Hill in the Premier League.
Brian Hill's got something, my man.
There is something.
He's tricky as hell. He can cross the ball. Listen, don't sleep on him, my man. He's not going to want you getting on his back in the fourth quarter. You can't wait until he's starting to be a thing before you get behind him. You need to make your decision right now. You're either Team Hill or your team non-Hill, your team flat ground. You're like something else, right? Your team mountain or your team Hill. Pick a side, bro. Because he's going to do something. And for me, I think I'm on Team Hill all day long. Hill Messi, get this. What's this guy? Get this guy out of my face. What's he doing? What's this?
I just wanted to show you how this Brian Hill has had an uphill battle since he's joined here, in my eyes at least. Because this is not his fault, but you look at the business. I don't like the fucking business, especially when you could have kept Lamela and you could have got a Adama Traore for 23 at this moment in time. And instead of doing that, we got a guy and then we sent him to Spain. And then he came after he relegated that fucking club. He came here and then he got injured. And then we saw nothing out of him. And then we sent his ass back to Spain. And then he went and had some glory. And then he came back here. And guess what he did here? Got injured again. And then now we haven't seen him again. So it's just like, this is a guy like Giovanni Lo Celso I can't rely on. I can't count on him. I can't hope that he's going to come good. And I agree. We need a Brian Hill. We need a player that can play a certain position. Yes. But is it Brian Hill that's the one to do that?
Who's the guy whose back you have that's not an obvious back to have?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of backs are obvious to have right now. I can't say Romero. I can't say Son. I can't say Van de Ven, Udogie, Basuma.
No. There's controversial backs to have. Do you have Richie's back? Is that a controversial back to have? There must be someone. You can't just not have anyone's back who's non-excellent. You have to pick a certain. Everybody has to have a back of a guy who's controversial. Which controversial back you want?
Is Vicario? That's not controversial, right?
What?
Vicario? That's not controversial at this point.
No. Skip
I don't.
is a controversial back to have. Højbjerg is a controversial back to have.
Højbjerg, I see a purpose here in the club. I've never wanted Højbjerg gone. I think he has a purpose here.
Controversial back to have. Ben Davies is a controversial back to have.
I don't have any of their backs, if I'm honest, because I don't like them.
I mean, you're picking the low hanging fruit, my man. I don't respect that. You got to have at least one controversial back.
Big up, Egal. Egal's in the chat. Look at that. Then this thing is the first time I've seen Egal in the chat. Hello, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Again, I want Brian Hill to be. I want him to be good. From what I've seen, I just don't see it. He doesn't, and he's fucking going around liking Instagram comments. Oh, stay in Spain, and he's doing the please emojis and the I can't wait till I fucking eat. Say that again.
Emerson Royale is a controversial back. You can't just sit here and back everyone that's great. Everyone's got to have a dog in the fight. Like
Ashley Phillips. I like Ashley Phillips. I got Ashley Phillips back. How about that?
Oh, you don't get to have those sorts of players.
I can't have Ashley Phillips back?
No. Well, you can have his back, but that doesn't count. You got to have a back of someone that goes through turmoil that people don't like. You have to have the support of someone.
Well, it was Sonny last year. It was Romero last year. Those were the two people's backs I had last year when everyone was shitting all over them. But now everyone's talking to them nicely because guess what? They're playing exactly how I said they would play. Quality.
You're always going to have the back of players that you know have got it. I'm talking about the players that you don't know have got it.
Do we, Sean, hang on, Sean. Do we know? Because last year I was told by a lot of people, and I think you were of this subscription, Sean, that Son was past it. He was beyond his best, and we are never going to see the Son that we saw again. We weren't going to see him banging goals left and right. There were people that said he lost a bit of his pace and that he couldn't be. I'm not saying this is you. I'm just saying all the things I heard last year about Heung-min Son that I'm not hearing now. Where's the same energy? I just applauded you about the same energy. When it comes to people, I have their backs because they've shown me why I should have their backs. It's like why am I going to have Brian Hill's back when all he's shown me is that he likes playing in Spain, he does decent in Spain, but when he plays for Tottenham, it's more Giovanni Lo Celso.
I'm asking you to have a gut instinct on a player that hasn't yet proven it, and you can't pick the youth team. You can't sit there and say I'm Team Donnelly, I'm Team Dorrington, I'm Team Phillips, I'm Team Villiers. I'm talking about a player that's in and around the first team that gets a lot of hate. I want every Tottenham fan right now to have like the back of someone who. So
you're saying I need to support more of these losers than I do? Is that what you're saying? I need to have their back more than I do?
Like the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You got like the Big Brother program. you got to have the back of someone. you got player, and then you got to stick with it and ride or die, bro. That's what you got to do. And I'm asking you right now to make that go, because Brian Hill's my guy. Who's your guy? Pick a guy.
Let's see what the chat's saying. Son. Chat says Jacob had Romero's back all last season. Ben Kaufman says Jacob has Adama Traore's back. I always got Adama Traore's back.
Would be that.
I always have his back.
Who is your Tottenham's version of Adama Traore? That's what
there is not a Tottenham version of Adama Traore because there is only one Adama Traore. Alan St. Maximin, another player, I always have his back regardless what the stats say. Because I just like watching the guy play football. Now, let me think. What's that?
Are you going to keep going? Can I go get a beer and we can continue this conversation?
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free.
Okay. But
absolutely. I'll run through some of the chat.
You and the chat need to have figured out who
we need to figure out who I'm going to support here. I guess it has to be one of either Richarlison or Hill. The lesser of two evils maybe would lend you to believe Brian Hill could do something. Batus.
You could have Ollie Skip. You could have Ben Davies. You can have Emerson Royale. There's plenty of players that you can have, but you just got to pick someone.
Can you name some better ones for me, Sean, that I can pick from, please? I'll take some better ones, please. Batus says mine is Højbjerg. Basically, which average player are you delusional about, says Rich. Adama Traore every single time. I want Hill to visit Wimpy to gain some weight, says Ben Kaufman. Big up Ben Kaufman. Big up everybody in the chat. I see the likes have hit 109. Absolutely blessing the channel. 122 votes. So y'all did help get that ratio a little bit cleaner and better. So I appreciate y'all doing that, hanging out with us on this Thursday evening. Again, shout out to the 2 people who did subscribe to the channel during the show. That means a lot to the channel, so thank you very much. And appreciate everyone who has been commenting. Zabur says, I'll back Royale. Hansi G is going to back Richie. Let's see. Akif says, Tottenham need 3 players. Yeah, we need a bunch of players. We need some depth here. Royale's a great, except he is slow. Doesn't suit the system. Can't wait to see the back of Eric Dyer, says Jamie Git. Richarlison plays for the shirt. You know what? Fuck it. I'm taking Richarlison. Because I feel like if I went into a fight with somebody, at least Richarlison, whether he goes in there and gets knocked out in the first 10 seconds or not, you at least know he's jumping over the bar to come fight with you. Brian Hill would probably be like, oh, let this transpire, and then I will make my assessment, and I'm hurt, my back hurts. Oh, you thought you could rely on me? You thought you could use me in a bar fight, Jacob? Turns out my back hurts. Oh, this time it's not my back, it's my groin. Oh, it's not my groin, it's my calf. These mystery injuries. You know, when I was in school and I wanted to get out of doing some shit, I would go to the nurse and say, it hurts inside. I don't know where. My liver, my kidney, I don't know. Just any excuse will do. Giovanni Lo Celso syndrome is what I call it. Hugo Lloris suffered from it as well. He had a nice little back injury that kept him out the rest of the season after Newcastle. These fun little back injuries. I love it when players have back injuries because it's like when Colorado first legalized medical marijuana, everyone flew to Colorado and said, I got my back hurts, doctor, and they write you a note and let you get some weed. And so it's like anyone can go around saying they back hurts. I mean, my back hurts for what it's worth. So Jacob Pickles, Celso, or Dyer? Hell no, neither one of them. I guess if I had to choose between Richie or Hill, who am I who? I feel like Richie will at least bleed for the badge. I feel like Brian Hill's not going to go out there when it's raining because I feel like he's like a.
I love the fact the chat have embraced the conversation, this ridiculous conversation. The chat, bro. If we're gonna do this, then let's figure it out. Let's figure it out.
Hey, this is what I love about the chat here at United Spurs of America. They're always here, indulging me in whatever fucking tangent my mind takes me to. I love the community we're building here. Jacob definitely has Sanchez's back. I always said we don't make top 4 that year without Davinson Sanchez. The miracle top 4 that we got.
There you go. So he was your boy. Where was your energy to keep him though?
I said I'd rather him, if we're going to sell a center back, I'd rather it be Dyer over Sanchez. But Sanchez is actually the only player out of those 2 who could generate some kind of fucking transfer fee. Because Eric Dyer, everyone says no thank you.
Man, the guy got 2 assists for Galatasaray against United the other night, man.
Yeah, he did. Talk to me nicely, Davinson, Big Dav.
Tottenham never knew they had, you know.
He could have been our James Madison last year, or Joe Roden. Joe Roden's been playing the James Madison role for Leeds. That's kind of fun.
But forget about Brian Hill. Let's what's that? Madison's out injured for 3 weeks. Put Sanchez in the 10. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you know, what if we did something like that? Madison's out. There you go, Romero. Have fun. Just play that floating 10 there, and see what he could do. And that'll be a lot of fun.
Let me ask you this though.
They want me to say Dyer.
Legit question. Okay, we'll park the whose back have you got for a moment. How many positions do you think that Pedro Porro could effectively play?
How many positions?
So we know he can play right back.
Yeah.
Right? We think he can play right wing.
Yeah.
Just 2? Because I think he could. I think he's got the technical nous to play the second 8. I think he could play in the star position.
Big up Moondog with the first super chat of the day.
Oh, go on. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just gonna say big up Moondog for the big up. It says big up lads with the 2-pound dono. Big up Moondog. Hope you're keeping well this evening, my friend. Thank you for the first super chat of the night, getting it kick started off here. So I just saw Phil said I had Roden's back as well. Yeah, I did. Now in regards to Pedro Porro, I think right back, right wing, and like last year, obviously the right wing back. So there's 3 positions. Then I would say I think he's got the talent that he could probably play on the left as well. I mean, when you see if he just bolts down, cuts it back, sends a cross in on his right. I love crosses off Pedro Porro's boots, no matter where they're coming from the pitch. I think Ange also likes players who can play multiple positions. Versatility is absolutely critical because you think about it. There's times when Basuma's going forward where Sarr's now dropping in between the center backs, or Udogie and Pedro Porro have now pushed towards the center circle, and now Basuma's dropping down in between Van de Ven and Romero there. So
right.
I think he likes these players like Basuma. Coming into it, people said, "Oh, he's not a 6, he's an 8. Oh, he's not going to play the 8, he's going to play the 6." And he's kind of played the 6 and the 8, this box to box 6, if you will, as I like to call it. And it's like, I like it, and he's very good at it. And I think that it's this role that is almost like this new wave of 8s that's like really a box to box 6. So it's like, I think Pedro Porro is one of those guys.
Could Pedro Porro play in the 8?
I would rather see him in a 10, but he absolutely could play in the 8 because defensively he's shown the ability. As a backup to James Maddison, I could see him being a creator there.
Porro, you got a player that could play right, like in the 11, right wing, in the whatever it is, the 2 or the 5, whatever it is that plays right back. So you could play right back,
2.
right wing back, right wing. I think he could play in the 10, the 8. The left back, the left wing back, and the left wing. And I think he could also potentially play in the 6. I think we've got someone that can play absolutely anywhere.
And that's the thing about a true athlete and a student of the sport.
You could shoehorn him into basically anywhere, apart from goalkeeper or centre back. And I think he'd do a good job.
Fuck it. Throw him at goalkeeper too. I bet he'd do it too.
One guy on my shirt.
I'm going with Christian Romero. I think I'm going to get Romero and Son. I got to get a Romero one. I got to get a Romero one personally. I've always bigged up Romero. I got to get something with Romero. I think should I do cappuccino or away kit whenever I do eventually do it? Which one's going to go with Romero?
Look how many of these black bastards I've got. 1 second.
Oh, here we go. Are we getting into the goodie box now? Oh, here we go. What's that?
There's one.
Oh, look at that cappuccino kit in effect. I love those, honestly.
On the screen, it looks red, or it looks like
it kind of looks like velvet colored.
Yeah, but it's really not though. It's mud. And I got 3 homes. I got 25 more of these bad boys arriving.
Holy shit!
I got so many shirts. I'm going to be doing giveaways until the end of the season, I think. But yeah, shirts are coming out.
Well, very nice. Very nice. I tried to tell my wife a month ago to let me order these shirts on DHgate so they arrive in time for my birthday. And now I think when
DHgate terrible. DHgate awful, man.
Well, I don't know who else to go to get $15 replicas. It just take about 3 months to get here.
You participate in a Spurs talk show giveaway, you might just...
You know, I've participated in every fucking giveaway on every fucking channel, and guess who never wins? This guy. I never win the giveaways. They never pick me, so you know what? If you don't get Romero on the back, Jacob's going to be pissed. I mean, Sean, I don't know if you know, but I keep on deck just a slew of really great Romero photos for your viewing.
I gotta be honest, I love the guy, but that stuff is a little bit anti-Romero for me. That color scheme that he's wearing, it's not really.
You see, the beauty of being Christian Romero is you could put on anything and you're gonna look damn good doing it. And I support this. He was out with his woman enjoying. Look how fruitish or voluptuous vegetation behind him. I mean, come on, you can't help but like this guy. I mean, anytime I see this photo, I can't help but smile. I mean, you see vibes like this. How did anyone hate these two people last year, Sean? I'm going to ask you as someone who didn't like Son last year. That was a leading question, but
it was a leading. It was a lead question toward nonsense. You led me towards a pile of absolute nonsense. I've always loved Sonny's my favorite. You do realize Sonny's always been my favorite player for Tottenham. Right. The problem is that when he's so good and he's underperforming so regularly that you hold him to a higher standard because you know what he's capable of. It's like when you've got a child that's got, that's in like the third tier of maths, and they finally figure out what X equals, you really want to give them a pat on the back. And then you got some other kid who's in the first tier, and you know what? They knew what X equaled a long, long time ago, and now they're just slacking off a little bit. You kind of go, Sonny, you should be doing better than this. And that's what I felt like it was last season. It's not because I don't like the guy. I held him accountable to the standard of which he has set for himself and that I think he is capable of achieving. And this season, I think he's the best. I think he's the second best striker in world football or European, in the top 5 leagues in Europe. I think his stats speak for themselves in goal and shot creating actions, in passing, in the false 9 role. I don't think there's a single striker that doesn't. I think the argument actually is there. If you look at the stats, the argument is there to say he is the best striker in the top 5 leagues this year. And that is what he should be aiming to be every year because he's Heung-min Daddy's son.
Heung-min Hung, Heung-min Dad, Heung-min Son. The truth. He's my favorite Tottenham Hotspur player for what it's worth.
Don't be throwing that mud at me.
I just remember last year at one point you were.
Whose back have you got? You've had an hour now. Whose back have you got?
I haven't had an hour. It was like 30 minutes.
Pick a guy. Pick a back, man.
Joe Rodon. Joe fucking Rodon. My iron dog. Anytime I see him play for Wales, he's a beast of a left center back. So I love Joe Rodon.
He doesn't need your back.
Why?
He needs someone else's.
I want to support Joey.
Who's back? Pick one. Here's the options. Here's the options of someone that you're going to defend to the hilt, and you're going to be. I'm going to be expecting you to be calling for him to have minutes. Okay. And then when he plays well, you're going to be. I told you. And if he doesn't play well, you're going to be like, no, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. And the options are Richarlison, Ben Davies, Skippy, Højbjerg, Eric Dyer, Emerson Royale, yeah, that's it. Pick a back, bro. Pick a back.
Well, I've already covered the examples in which I've defended. He's not going to get picked, but I'm not going to choose Højbjerg because I've already defended him, and I still defend him, and I still think he has use in this squad, doing exactly what Ange is doing with him, which is coming on the bench and just doing his thing. So for me, out of the list that you picked, I'm going to have Emerson Royale's back. New father. He's Vibes FC. He spent millions of his own hard-earned money to get better, and he did. And I think that, I
love this. Keep going.
This is a guy that he has shown that defensively he could play the right back position. Now, when he has the ball at his feet, we don't necessarily like it. When he's trying to cross into the box, we don't like it. I say trying because he doesn't always get them crosses into the box. Sometimes he'd rather play a 1-2 with Sarr, Basuma, whoever comes over to help. So, but I think he's a guy that also could fill in.
Focus on the positives. Keep going. You were doing a good job.
Another thing that I think Emerson Royale brings is versatility, not just as a right back, but I think he could fill in should we need numbers at a center back position. I think that is a position in which he can occupy. If you look at what Christian Romero does, Emerson Royale can do those things.
Jacob, just a random question that happens to possibly participate in this conversation, but is there anybody in the potential misfits who happens to be the best aerial defensive header of the ball in the entire Tottenham squad? I don't know. Is it maybe your guy? I mean, you tell me. Who would you say is the best defensive aerial threat in the Tottenham squad?
Well, looking at a lot of the numbers, Christian Romero comes to mind because people said he wasn't good in the air. And I looked at, there was 3 games in a row in which statistically, aerially, he had messed up once in 3 games in a row. But I think the numbers that you're referring to specifically, Sean, are for Emerson Royale. There you
go. There you go, bro. There you go. I'm gonna have to give Barry a little chat and say, move over, Barry. You got some competition in town for Emerson Royale's #1 fan. You know, I like that.
I wouldn't sell it that hard because I'm definitely not gonna get that haircut. I'm definitely not gonna get a number 12 on any shirts coming up soon. But you know what? I, as a character, as a person, I can't go again. I don't have anything to say negatively about him. And I can say the same for Richarlison and maybe Brian Hill, except his questionable social media activities. But, you
I
know.
think you would like Brian Hill, mate, because he grows a questionable moustache. You're growing a questionable moustache. You know, I thought
Oh, what's questionable about the Freedom Stash, baby? Ain't nothing questionable about that. It's all for sure. Look,
it's all good,
man, I appreciate you joining. I'm going to be ending off the show there. So I did want to say a big shout out to Footy Judge Mo for making his debut on the channel as well. Sean, thank you so much for coming on. Tomorrow we will be doing like an official preview with predictions and stuff. But Sean, I don't know if you're going to join me. So I'm going to get your score predictions and your goal scores, how you see this thing shaking out before we end off. Talk to me nicely. Because you're going to be there.
No, yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham.
3-1.
Goals from Pape Sarr's going to get a goal. Put the bet on that. And I'm also going to give a goal to Richie and another goal to Sonny.
Ooh, okay. You see all this happening in the first half. Do you think we rest the second half, or how do you see this transpiring in that sense?
No, I think it's going to be a real dogfight, mate. I think it's going to be a real. I think it's going to be a tough afternoon, tough morning. Actually, it's a morning. Are you even going to be up watching the game?
I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch this. Yes, I am. I will be waking up. But like we spoke about yesterday, Sean, I'm not the best version of myself before I have my berries. And at 5 a.m., I'm not allowed to have my berries yet. So I'm going to be a grumpy man watching this. So Kulusevski, if you get that fucking ball, you better not do something annoying with it. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to be in a very bad mood.
You know why I've got like a lot of respect for you, mate? It's because you getting up at 5 o'clock without your berries is a sort of dedication to your craft that I think can only really be replicated. If we're looking for someone that really has the same dedication, it's probably your man Emerson Royale. He's the sort of guy that would go out and kind of to offer that sort of dedication to his craft. And that is why I totally agree and understand why you picked him as your misfit to back. You know?
Yeah. If I got to pick one, I'll pick.
I'm going to get one of these shirts with Emerson Royale on it, and I'm going to send it over to your part of Texas.
You know, it's going to cost you like $40 just for shipping that thing. So I'll wear it, bro. I don't care. I just personally wouldn't buy a shirt and say in the description, "Can you please, sir, put Emerson Royale and number 12 on the back of that?" Because that is not. If it's a 7 Son, 17 Romero, I could do it. I'm even thinking about maybe going Mickey Van de Veen, but I might just go Son again because I love him so much. I have enough. My wife says I have enough.
He's my favorite player. He's my favorite player. And consequently, he can't be yours.
Why? Who's the first person you heard him from?
You.
Oh, well, there you go. First person I ever told you about this lad, Mickey Van de Veen. Rich in the chat, YouTube chat member as well. He was here in January when I said, go get Mickey Van de Veen. So I've always kept the energy. Plus, he wears number 37, which is a little homage. Some may say to Harry Kane. I say nay. I say homage to Adama Traore. That's what I say. I know Adama wears the number 11 now, but he wore the number 37, and I will always love the number 37, not because Harry Kane, nay, because of Harry Kane, but because of Adama Traore. Damn, imagine getting your hands on one of them greasy bastards after a match. That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun, you know?
You know what? You know the amount of people that like swap shirts? Every single one of them, every single person who's ever played with has gone, nah, you're right, bro.
Yeah, I'll send me in the mail.
Even if I put that in the washing machine, it's going to take 4 or 5 washes for it to get that.
Yeah.
Like,
because oil and water separates. I remember that from science class. You know, they separate very well. They don't mix. Some of the chat here saying 1-4 Spurs, 5-1 Tottenham, 2-0 Spurs, 2-1 Luton from Rich. Wow, Rich, what are we doing? Hansi says 6. Matt says 4-1. Zapur's getting up at 4:30 a.m. Yeah, Americans out here, we get up. We on them Emerson vibes, Sean, if you didn't know. We out here working while everybody's sleeping. Never a dull moment with Emerson. Royale needs his berries before he can play at his best too. Big up Batu. I've been seeing you here in the chat a lot more lately, and honestly, I like it. So thank you for being here. And a big ups to every single one of you who have tuned in to the show while we've been live here. And if you're watching on playback 2 hours in, no, you are the goat. That wasn't a sheep, it was a goat. And you know, a lot of times when I do impersonations, accents and stuff, they're always like, oh, is that Antonio Conte? Did he just call into the show? Is that a audio clip of Antonio Conte? No, it's just my great impersonation. These club, these players. So there you go. There's my Antonio Conte. Obligatory, have to do it once per show. These club, these players. I want a free shirt, says Boone. Udogi shirt for me, please. There you go. Spurs Talk Show. I'm going to add it into the title. So go on over to Spurs Talk Show. He's doing giveaways. He wants Udogi on the shirt. So, Boone, if you win, go ahead and tell Sean.
But where are you from, Boone? Boone, where are you from? You sound like you. Am I wrong to presume you live somewhere like thousands of miles away? If you live in London, then yeah, I'll send you a shirt. If you happen to live in, I don't know, somewhere further afield, then you're going to have to participate in the random draw. And if I'm entirely honest, just for my bank balances purposes, I love you, my man, but I hope you don't win.
Big up Boone. I hope you win, my friend. Because if someone in Texas wins, it's going to cost them about $40-50 just to get it out here as well.
It is in Singapore. That's about $60.
Big up. I don't know your name, don't know what you said, but I know you're always here spitting facts. So thank you for being here. Hit the like before you go.
Spitting facts.
Spitting facts. I'm going to say that this says, Jacob, this has been a fantastic show. And Sean, you did absolutely great going over to Spurs Talk Show to like and subscribe over there because you're coming up, man. You were almost on 20K before you know it. Let's pick Levy's back. Phil Coy wants to pick Levy's back. I don't know what's Levy's squad number. 69 or 0? I don't know. One of those. 3-0 for Phil. 2-0 for Jamie. Big up everyone from my Turkish lad. This is a Galatasaray fan. We met because our love for Big Dav. So big up Akif always being here. Wee Man's World says Spurs 6-0. Richie Hattrick. Wee Man's World. First off, great name. Second off, first time here. Love seeing you. So big ups. Faz Radfar says 3-1 Spurs. It's in his name and it's in the comments. So if you don't know, now you know. I think 3-1's the one. That's kind of where I'm leaning. I don't want to give too much away before tomorrow's show, but that's a little bit the direction that I'm leaning. So
you're doing a show tomorrow?
I do a show 5 days, at least 5 to 6 days a week. So yeah. I'll do something.
Well, I'm going to need you to come on my show tomorrow.
I'll do it. Are you on? What time are you on?
I don't know.
I'm there. If I can make it, I'm there.
Love that.
You want me to come bring some delusion? I'll do it. You want me to bring some of that? A little bit of that southern jazz.
I love Brian Hill.
Oh,
he's going to need all the love he's got, mate. And listen, your love is something else. Your love, like the mellifluous tones that you bring with your with the vocal dexterity of which you can articulate your passion for certain things. Brian Hill needs a little bit of that, and I want you to take another look at him. Okay, I need you to think tonight. Does Brian Hill deserve a second gander? And if he does, then I need you to articulate that because I've heard that Brian Hill watches this show.
You know, I hope you in 2 months' time come on this show and come mud me about Brian Hill because he's been balling. Now he's undroppable at left wing. Fuck Solomon, fuck Perisic. We have our left winger glory. I've been saying in January, you go out, you get a quality left winger, like an actual, like legit quality left winger, and we could do bits. But big up Kevin for the $3 super sticker. Let me see what kind of a stick. Oh, it's a super chat. No, wait, it is a super sticker. It's like a green man with a green thumbs up. So big up. I appreciate that, Kevin, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. We will be ending off the show here very shortly. But big up Daniel Sandoval every single time. And H Talks Chelsea. How are you doing, H? Hope you're keeping well. Says big up, guys. No, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I respect the hustle. Smash the like. Hustle. Smash the likes. I don't know why I'm giving it a bit of a Sean Connery, but there you go. I appreciate everyone who has locked in. My wife's texting me. We are over 2 hours, so now that is Chewy's still here. Normally at 2 hours, the dog gets up and leaves because he's like, fuck this. I've had enough. But he's still here. He's still sleeping. So big up, every single one of you. Sean, tomorrow, Spurs Talk Show. Talk long enough so I can pull up your channel link real quick.
Don't worry about it. Honestly, you just end it. It's called Spurs Talk Show where you can find me. I don't know if we're going to do anything tomorrow. You know what I do? Every day I wake up, I got to do my corporate taxes tomorrow, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to have the space and the time. But if I do, it's going to be somewhere like in 20 hours time, basically, maybe 18 hours time. Wherever you are in the world, if you want to watch, just have a look out on Spurs Talk Shows where you can find me. Appreciate it, Jacob. I want to apologize to you for coming on, and I don't know if Mo did Mo drop off because I came on.
No, he had before the show told me he had an hour before the show on Hussam's channel started.
Okay.
So it's not because of you.
I'm sorry if I derailed the conversation with the Michael Schumacher anecdote and stuff. All of that's true, by the way. It was
you know on this channel, derailing is part of the process here. I always say my mind's like a squirrel in the middle of Times Square, or the middle of, I think, a garden in New York's called Times Square, right? The big park. Mm-hmm. What's that park called? Times Square Park?
No.
How the fuck do I not know what this is called?
It's called I live
Central Park, Grand Central Park. Yeah, so think about a squirrel and all those trees there running amongst the trees. You quite never know which tree they're on, but they're up there, and that's me. I'm there. Don't know where, but somewhere. You never know which branch. You never know which tree. But if you're along for the ride, then
squirrel vibes. Bugsy needs to meet you because Bugsy's been chasing her squirrels for so long. She's never caught one, and I don't know what she would do if she ever did. But if you were representing a squirrel, it would be nice for her to meet you one day.
Did I ever tell you the story about my dog and a squirrel? It was in the morning before I went to work. I had to take the dog around the apartment complex, take a shit. And there was a squirrel on a power meter, and it tried to jump from the power meter to a tree, and it landed in my dog's mouth. And then my dog was doing this, and I was like, Chewy, let him go. This is back when the dog could hear, and I was like, Chewy, let it go. And I was pulling on it, and he fucking, woo! Through the squirrel, and it's swinging in the air. Wee, wee, just the whole time the noise coming out was like, ee, as it flew across. And this is early in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I mean, I saw the squirrel land and then run away. So like, he's okay, y'all. Don't worry, no squirrels were hurt. But a little interesting, you know, dogs and squirrels. It's always fun.
You know what? My dog is the gentlest. Like she'll like. Rough with me. She wants to have a little crap with me and stuff, but she's like so timid, so shy. When she sees a squirrel on our walks, she chases after them. She knows she's never going to get there. This one time we were crossing the road over there, and this squirrel fell out of a tree and literally landed like 30 centimeters in front of Bugsy's face. And the squirrel looked at Bugsy, and Bugsy looked at the squirrel. And there was a moment when Bugsy could have had her. She's been chasing squirrels her whole life. And then the squirrel realized what was going on before Bugsy did, and the squirrel shot off. And I swear to God, I don't think that if Bugsy actually found her squirrel, caught her squirrel, I don't think she would kill it. I think she would want to play with it. I think she'd be like, can we be friends? I don't know. I just
a little nibble and a throw
to tear apart a creature. I think she's too gentle herself, you know. Anyway.
Well, I can't speak on Chewy's intentions because in that moment, I'm sure he would have liked a little snack, but he did let go and he flew away, but big up. Wee Man's World says I'm here because I'm subbed to Spurs Talks. Great channel, Sean. Great channel indeed over there. And appreciate you coming on over, hitting the like and subscribe because I know you did. 126 of y'all have already, so thank you so much. To the 126 of y'all who have liked the video, that means a lot. It's free, costs you nothing, and it helps the channel grow. I'm going to end the poll. 138 votes. The winner is the biggest myth around Tottenham Hotspur is the word Spursy. So that is officially the biggest myth. The second biggest myth is that Spurs are trophyless. And honestly, two correct answers today. Scott's choice came in third place with the biggest myth is that Ange can win a trophy with us. So let's see. It may or may not happen. Time will tell. Phil Coys seemed to like that squirrel story. It was absolutely funny. But I'm like half awake because I'm just sauntering around walking my dog. And I'm like, no, get the fucking squirrel out of your mouth. And he throws it in the air. And it was like it felt like something out of a movie. And I was like, it's one of those moments like, did I just witness this? Or am I still dreaming? Jacob, I promised to name one of the mini squirrels in my garden I feed in my hand. Jacob, they are the best. Very nice. I like squirrels. I have nothing against squirrels. Apparently Chewy does, but the squirrel was Chewy. You hear that, Chewy? Everyone's siding with you. They're great. But big up, everybody. That's going to do it here. I am going to be sending y'all off on over to Sarcasm City TV with the great Flawless. So when you go on over there, if you go there for a short time, just say USA Raid. That way he knows that I'm sending the love. And before I end off, had a couple questions starred before I end off. Zapur says, how did your wife react to the Sonny's donation? She was absolutely touched. She didn't realize that Sonny even knew what music therapy was. So now she says it's great for the bit. It's great for the profession, and it's great for the trade, so she was very happy with that. And then Pedro Mendez says, big up Jacob, how many goals for Sonny this weekend? Madison to get a few also. If they both start, I see Madison with a hat trick of assists, Sonny with at least 1 to 2 goals. And then Batu says, question, with all these injuries, do you think we will see some U21 players get a game soon? I think they'll be on the bench this weekend. Sean, do you think they'll be on the bench this weekend and get some game time, or just be on the bench?
Who?
Any U21 players. Phillips, Valise, Donnelly.
No.
Maybe
they'll be on the bench, but some of them will. Maybe Donnelly, but I don't think so. Okay. I don't expect it to be.
Well, we will see. Time will tell. The game is on Saturday, but we'll see you here tomorrow. Keep it locked. Should be at the same usual time. Might be a little later. You know, if Sean goes live, we might go live after him. And then we get a little cheeky redirect. So we'll see. The world is our oyster, and things are unplanned, and that's the beautiful part of life. So hit the notification bell if you haven't already. But that's going to do it for me today. This has been episode number 66, if I'm not mistaken. Episode number 66 of the Untitled series here on United Spurs of America. So as always, I will bid you adieu and say, stay blessed,
Bye.
Stay fresh, up the lads, and come on, you Spurs. Of course.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.